I love that one. That little raccoon. I always often wonder if that lady decides to go through the gate, but it looks like y'all decided to walk through the gate with us tonight. So welcome, 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 gatekeepers. Welcome one and all chat. And we'll get in here and say hi to everybody. But let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about what tonight is. We decided to gather together. This is really a combination of a lot of different abilities. Um, and that includes everyone in the live chat tonight. So I am so glad you decided to join us. And once we get everybody in here, we'll describe a little bit more. But basically, what we're doing is almost a live investigation, combining our abilities to try to sort out a situation and then find out what the best way to handle the whole issue is and finish it. So I've got a couple little videos for you and two wonderful guests. So I'm going to go ahead, ladies, first and bring in author, medium, light worker, definitely a gatekeeper. She has had multiple decades in the medical field. Quite a few of those years spent in afterlife care. And just like me, I can look right at her and say, kind of pretend like I'm Dorothy, and I'm going to look at Alice in Wonderland and go, honey, we seen some shit. Get in here, honey. Lynn Monet. Everybody, welcome.
How are you? Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here. Hello, everybody. I can't see the chat, but I love you all. Thank you. And
okay. We'll see if we can get that up here for you. And, if anybody has any questions or anything that they want to throw up here, just let, I'll try to keep you abreast of that. How you doing tonight, sweetie?
It's been an interesting journey, to say the least. I'm at my sister's house in Louisiana, and I apologize for coming in so late. I'm on Central Time, and I'm thinking Eastern Time. So, yeah, it's an hour earlier here. So I'm just glad to be here.
Are you okay? I mean, if you need more time or you need to step away, it's all, here. It's just comfy, cozy here. So, yeah, I'm rolling all over my headphones. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm wrestling with my chair. I'm actually fighting with myself, but there's wires and chairs and wheels involved, so anything can happen. So anyway, we're here basically. You had a great idea, but before we start telling everybody what's going on here, just when you think you've heard everything, folks, you know what I mean? Just trust me, none of us have. And that's saying something. That's a big broad brush, but I feel bold in brushing it because there's always going to be something. So here's another one of my brothers. We kind of say this in the paranormal family. It's just like any group. You get together and you find that like-minded person and you get really excited because your energy kind of melds and you're just going a mile a minute because you're connecting and everybody, the person you're talking to is understanding not only what you're saying, but how you're feeling and what you saw and what you heard, because, it's an amazing thing. And one of these very special people is my brother, Bryan Bowden. And, he's so many things too. I mean, author, just a generally great human being, light worker, so many different abilities. And they always surprise me after he, pulls another one out of his pocket. I'm like, with that too? He's got a paranormal tool belt, basically. Get in here, Bri. I love you, man.
Paranormal tool belt. Yeah, I wish.
It's like we've got the TA-50 on, we've got the gear, we've got all the stuff, we got the night vision and the, all the, it's just, but it's built in. You know what I mean?
It was just a really regular night, and then all of a sudden I get a message from you, Lynn, and then it went in a totally different direction.
Well, they don't know why they're here. So who wants to go first? And meanwhile, the very first thing we're going to do is, because we are on electronics, I want everybody. Now, again, this is starting off with the live chat. So if you do not want to be here for this, I totally understand. We love you. Go ahead and go on out, because basically what I'm telling you this for is, it's, first of all, it's an active thing. And it's not, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you're just like, okay, it's just something you got to sort. It's like having a knot in the shoelace or something. You just got to take it out, or you could, it's just got to be sorted. So, but I'm going to give you the chance to, go, hi, everybody, bye, everybody, I'm out. If you're infirmed or sick or whatever, and again, I'm not saying there's any danger. I'm just saying you should know ahead of time that this is an active thing and we are on electronics. I'm not trying to scare you, because all you got to do is just envision white light surrounding you, and that pretty much covers everybody. But here's the thing. I want you to participate. So we're going to take just a second or two, and you go ahead and put up your words, what comforts you, what protects you, and you put that in the chat and you put that out. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw out in our light worker gatekeeper way, surround and protect everybody listening to this now, anybody that's surrounding Lynn right now, anybody that's surrounding Bryan, me, everybody in this chat, and your homes, and that includes your animals and every living thing. Okay, so everybody, I'm just going to give you a second to go ahead and do that and throw it up in the chat. And meanwhile, I'm going to do mine. And if you guys want to add anything, you can. I'm calling on all our angels and all our spirit guides, our loved ones. I'm calling on every positive soul and energy in any dimension. Surround and protect us. Only positive can come through. Only light can penetrate. We protect every electronic, every heart, every chakra involved in this live chat. And I ask this in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. While you did that, I threw up the Holy St. Michael prayer.
That's the best one.
Yeah,
I knew so. I had a feeling you were doing it. I had a feeling you were doing it.
Yeah,
so there you go, guys.
I sent it Lynn's way, along with a bigger prayer thing that is good for breaking curses and spells. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're cutting cords tonight, folks. We're cutting cords. So here's the deal. We're going to ask you, even more so than normal, reach outside of your normal realm of thinking for a second and imagine, if you will, as we are going to be talking about dog men in the future, we are going to be talking about taking the next step on that and on Bigfoot and other creatures and things like that in the future. I want you to go back a couple of weeks and up and think about, if you were here for the shows, we were talking about so many dimensions, things vibrating on different vibrations, like a dog whistle. We can't see it. We can't hear it until it wants us to, or it bleeds into our world, or vice versa. You're going to have to reach outside the box tonight. Who wants to take this off? And let's start at the beginning.
Lynn, you want to start this off, and you get to the point where you maybe contacted who you contacted.
Yeah, I was so grateful to reach out to Cisco and have her. I didn't know that Bryan had these gifts, and he was a huge help and support to me.
Paranormal tube belt. I'm telling you, we got the chain, baby. We got the,
like
you're part of it. Right? Yeah, you're part of it.
And I also just want to say thank you to Melissa and Jim Rupert also for their support, but because they were also very, very helpful. But my sister, as everybody knows in the last show, has recently passed away, and I have inherited her house. And in her house, there were spirits. Normally, which is not a problem for me, I can manage that part of it. I can help them cross over. I can neutralize the negativity. I can, and I know the people to call if I can't. So in this particular case, there were a few spirits that crossed over, but there was this one that was resistant, and it didn't seem to respond to any of the usual methods at all that way. So I was thinking, because it did change, it would make impressions of changing shape. So sometimes it would present as like my father or my sister. So I just assumed that it might be like a poltergeist, because I was not familiar with elementals until I got taught by Bryan. I had never, other than fairies and things like that, I had never really, had to deal with that sort of thing. I had no idea how all of that works. So once I realized people were seeing things in the house, I have a half sister named Mary. She had come to help me with the house, and we would see this thing walking in a circle through the house from one room into the other. And she doesn't even believe in this stuff. And I saw it walk through, and I said, did you see that? And she says, I saw something, but I thought it was my glaucoma. And I said, no, you just had a spirit cross in front of you. And it was this little short thing that was like 5 foot, like not 5, but like 3.5 feet tall, maybe 4 feet at the most, but more like 3.5 feet tall. So it was smaller, even maybe smaller than that. So then we left, and then I came back with my son, and we came in prepared to do this clearing of the house with the fire, the bells and the whistles, the whole 9 yards, thinking that, my sister, because she did code on the floor of her kitchen, that maybe she left a portal open. So
real quick, let me stop you for a second. Are you saying that like metaphorically, or did you actually use like bells and whistles? And I don't mean that as a joke. You'll understand why I'm asking this question later, but I'm asking you seriously.
No,
I mean, were you going around the house with bells and and incense and dragon's blood and sage and all that? Or
yes, I had
all of that. What did you try? Do you mind me asking?
I
have a reason.
I would carry first of all, I called and to see if anybody wanted to be crossed over and left, because it seemed that there was more than one spirit. My sister, after she saw that incident with the spirit walking between us, she tried to sleep that night, and there was a ring of faces over her bed that night, which I had then seen. So when I came here, because there was so much clutter that had to be cleaned first before clearing could be done effectively, I would walk around with chanting music for demon removal in my pocket, playing on my phone, as well as I had on my all of my crosses, my iron, my Archangel Michael, all kinds of talismans, and I had them to my back and to my front, so that I could clear out the house in order to be able to move through the house and effectively bless the house, assuming that would have taken care of it. So as I came back with my son, we're both sitting again in the living room, and this spirit comes walking through again, and it mumbles. It mumbles, but it mumbles cuss words. So there was one room in particular upstairs.
I was like, my head is gonna snap right off. I guarantee it. It's just gonna roll right, because I'm just like, my energy is off the hizzy, folks. So all of us we're connected in. So I'm sorry, but it's gonna be a crazy night.
And I could see that it was energy, and at first I thought maybe it was a child, and I thought that maybe it was the thing that I had assumed was a poltergeist that was wanting us to allow it to stay by changing, looking like my sister or looking like my father, so it would be like, oh, it's just Lisa or it's just Dad, type thing. But yet the energy was more negative, and there was this room that Bryan identified. Of course, I reached out then to Cisco, because I thought it was a poltergeist thing, and I wanted somebody that could look remotely into the house to see what it was, since none of the traditional things that we would normally use for clearing out lost souls and demons was working.
It was like bouncing. It was almost like, what's the word I'm looking for, Bri? It's like almost
like a force field that was popping off. Like a force field.
This is the word. Yes, this is the word.
There goes Lynn.
Get out of my head. Where'd she go? Did somebody get her? Lynn, no. You didn't see like big arms come around and yank her back and everything went. Oh my gosh, she just went. There she goes. Wait a minute.
She's back. I don't know if the camera's working. And
give her a second. So
I was worried about
up into this point, this is kind of where you're coming in.
Yeah.
Next.
I literally got a Facebook message from Lynn, and it was late. It was like really, really late. And wonder if you can help me kind of message.
Can I just stop you there and say something real quick? because I have to just get it out. I really love you, by the way. You know this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just had to say that.
Love you
Go
too,
ahead,
by
honey.
the way. That you are
Go
my
ahead.
sister from a different mister, as they say.
I just
One
really,
of my
it's
top 5
the
hugs, by the
energy.
way, at Gettysburg. But I
Yep.
was like in the zone. I was listening to really good music, and all of a sudden I see this really weird lady looking at me, and then it registered like, oh my God, it's Cisco. And
Me.
great hug from, it's like a
I
long
got a
lost
good
friend.
handshake too, brother. I swear.
Yeah.
I get the
We'll see if
strangest looks from big old dudes when I shake their hand and they go, and
Yeah.
you see their face kind of change. They're like
Yeah.
shapeshifters. They move real fast and they're like, and then you get a little respect. It's nice. But anyway, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Want to let you know on this.
Man.
Lynn probably will be back. And when I got the message from Lynn, and it was just like, I need help, whatever. I knew you sent me. I sent her. I knew it. I just saw you almost with a little snicker on your face.
I was like, man, okay, where am I sending this? Okay, send it. I was going through so much of my own thing. It's neither here nor there. But it was just like you instinctively know you don't understand. When I've literally run my finger down my contacts just to get the tingle over the name and rested on Brian's, what you can vouch for this, one time, and I'm like, what? Okay. And I call him, and sure enough, so I don't question things anymore. I know people think I'm loony, but I'm way past the, did Oswald shoot JFK? Okay, just so you know. I'm way past it. I'm at the end where I'm just surfing. I've caught the wave and I'm just enjoying it. Go ahead.
It was weird because I knew I saw in my mind you, and I knew that you were part of the. Hey, welcome back.
Hey, I kind of expected that because I hear it tooling around in the kitchen right now.
Yeah, no, he's going to mess around with you. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I literally had to shut my phone off to even be able to get back on here. So anyway, go ahead and finish
talking. Let him know you'll give him more cookies. I'm not kidding.
Yes, I have banana muffin. I'll give him some more banana muffin. That's what he's in here for. I believe that.
Right. Cisco, you're muted. But the first message I got at 10:37 p.m. was, do you remote viewing? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Need your help. And then it went from there. And it's really weird because I didn't say this to you, Lynn, but I knew this was coming from Cisco. I knew it was coming from Cisco because there's an after effect from this that I got to Cisco because I helped her at a situation where she needed like somebody. Mm-hmm. And I remembered I was about to go into my lodge meeting and I was like, nope, can't do that. And
you had to do it.
Yeah.
And once you connect into an energy, you're connected. Unless you do some kind of a breaking thing, you know what I'm saying, or a banishing, but still.
He kind of doesn't want to be talked about, but he's got to have to deal with it. And
God
he's going to deal with it. Just he'll get more muffins and he can move on. But
yeah.
And then it started.
But this is so deep, guys. This is so deep. So I'm trying to give it to you in layers, but I'm also trying to throw out stuff to that because I've asked for help from my spirit guides to surround, listen, whatever you do to put your light out there, that's what I want you to do right now. Because what I want you to be doing, chat, if you can, while you're listening to this, either light a candle and fire gaze and watch us, or just have the candle flickering. If you're at a fire pit or whatever, you don't safety first, you know what I'm saying. But the candle gazing, even if it's an electronic one that's doing that flicker, because you kind of can put out the light and listen at the same time. Because what we're doing is we are eventually, once we get it revved up, get charged, we're going to send it to Lynn so she can send a blast of positivity into her home. So we're going to be gathering information and building a light. So even if you want to imagine some of those movies where you've seen the magicians and they're just they get their hands started and you rub them together and you get them really quick, you start feeling the friction. You keep it going and then you can start to pull it and you feel that energy. We're going to gather that and we're going to send it.
Yep.
And that's going to give Lynn just enough to throw her positive out there and kind of back everything off for a hot minute. So go ahead.
Step away for 1 second to get this thing a banana muffin because it's in me right now, tugging at my clothes. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yep. Get him the muffin, and he'll be a little bit happier.
Let's all hope. Let's put out there. Let's hope that it's not allergic to peanuts. Now I know this sounds insane, so this might be a good time, Bri.
Yeah.
Let's just briefly, because I've made us just a titch of a video.
Sure.
And I wanted to give everybody a little bit of what we're talking about. So I'm going to ask you if you had to describe basically what you believe may be there, what would the name of it be?
Okay, so
it's in the.
She mentioned poltergeist, and what it's not a poltergeist. It's super old. I mean, it's been here before we've been here. Okay,
ancient,
but not ancient in a demon
biblical
way.
Not in a biblical the biblical term.
No,
it's
elemental. Not ancient in a biblical way. It is an elemental. It has been here. I called it an elemental. It's the best way to describe it. It's like a combination of an orc, a troll, something of that nature, a woodland creature.
No, and like around in that.
Right. And you got it's really weird, but you got to picture something that kind of looks like a leprechaun, a little bit more grotesque in the face, and there's a reason. Lynn will tell you in a minute, but if you've seen, it's kind of like the creature from Grignots in the Harry Potter series.
Yes.
A little bit like that. It's almost exactly like that. And
I'm gonna
it's got
find
long nails and short feet, like I'm gonna say better a midget, long nails, really small. I mean, like if it comes up to a desk, it would be high, for the most part. It's not that big. But one of the things I knew, like when she was saying manifest, I knew exactly what it can do because I saw it doing it. I knew exactly where he was. And normally, I was kind of like relaxed where I was getting this information, because normally I would just, close my mind, concentrate a little bit more. But once I started I was able to do it instantaneously. And wow, I mean, it was instant.
Doesn't it just, you just makes your heart smile and a big smile come over your face? And because when you trust somebody, and that's what happens in this chain, there's people we just right through the BS. Hey, Dylan, welcome in, honey. I hate everybody else in here too. I'm sorry if I've missed you. I apologize. But it's just you just go through all the bullshit, get right down to the heart of the matter and what's important. And it's so refreshing to be able to do that, isn't it? Makes all the difference in the world.
Well,
so we're talking about the possible troll, gnome-ish.
I'm gonna
kind
say
of feel, but elemental family.
Yeah, when you think of this thing, and it's really, really small. It's humanoid features for the most part. It's wearing what I would classify as an old wool suit, suit, looking like a leprechaun, but not with it's just a weird creature. It's kind of like everything you've ever seen as far as gnomes, orcs, little orcs,
kind of put together.
It's that kind of put together, but there's a reason why. And I laugh because I'll let Lynn start talking about what her son was, saying about it.
Well, before you do that, I want to give people a visual, an image, and play a little video. It's 2 minutes.
Yep.
But I did something fun, and I played around with a little AI, and I threw some stuff out there. And within 5 pictures that it came up with, it gave me some that were close. I did it with more of the troll type we were talking about at first, and then added in the gnome type. And some of these pictures are AI created after saying, what are we talking about tonight? So if his picture that you guys have seen or something similar, let me know, because I wouldn't be surprised if it's not in here. It came up with some stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just a couple of facts, a couple of little of the lore that seems to how would you say it, Bri? Kind of reaches across the continents of culture. It just is.
It's global. I mean,
Yeah,
these are the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
creatures that in the UK, the British Isles, this is what they're talking about when they talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Wait, let me start that again. Sorry, guys. Isn't that great? That was the first one he came up with. That's number 2. This guy over here.
Yeah. Trickster.
And most of them are stay away, right? It's like everything. But when they get displaced, they become angry and lash out. They're extremely territorial. Ringing bells yet? See?
Oh yeah.
Now, sorry, turn that down just a little bit. It's all about go native. Respect it. You know, it's like, hey, got no problem, right? Now,
100%.
some of this is, you know, like the lore as far as like they're afraid of lightning because in mythology, Thor always chased him with his lightning and his hammer, right? And they turn to stone and form certain mountains, faces, and these things. This may not be what we're dealing with, but you got to figure with these things, guys, right? There's always a little truth mixed in with everything. So the first thing I got when you guys started with the first energy, I'm like, Bryce said something, and I said, you got to do an offering. You got to just, it's not going. The best you could is say, you know, whatever's happened in that house or renovation or moving and obviously different things have changed the atmosphere in the house. You just have to say, look, we're sorry for this. We're going to back out of your way. We mean no harm. You can't stay. I mean, it's just going to, you know, but do you know what I mean? It's one of those, but you can appease it, I believe.
Well, it's interesting because when I started doing it and when I do work and I'm trying to help somebody, something, it took me a while to figure this out. But when I transport to the place where you need help, it takes me right to the problem or where the area is. And it really took me to this like alcove area with the door kind of near it. And I'm like, that's where he's using this is highway, you know, and he's hanging out there. And I started, you know, wanting to help her out. Lynn, you mentioned something about not possession, but you had an attachment at one point.
Yes, I woke up one morning, I felt like vines had been tied around my legs and that there was something on my stomach as well as my neck. And it felt jiggly when I stood up, and it wasn't my stomach. And you know, I didn't realize, I couldn't find the banana muffin, so I offered him strawberries and he doesn't like those.
Nope.
So when you made the list of what it was, so I'll have to get him something else. I'm like, oh, well, no wonder why he didn't like those, because he was like, what is this? But the thing is Bryan was so spot on when he talked about doing the the remote viewing, and he talked about the alcove. I can show you where that alcove is. And not only was it an alcove by a door behind the kitchen, which he didn't say that part now, but he told me this. It is exactly the wall behind the kitchen. That alcove goes directly up to that one bedroom where the alcove comes out. There's an additional storage space on the side of the closet that connects with that alcove that he travels on, and that was his bedroom. Come to find out, what drew him in. And people, you've got to be careful when you pick up things, because you just don't know if that pebble or shell or rock is somebody else's treasure, or maybe even it's, you just never know, and just to say too, when I was talking to Bryan, my son would call it Hogwarts. He says it looks just like one of those bankers from the Hogwarts, because it had that longer nose and those kind of pointy ears, little short no neck, like type thing, almost childlike looking, but humanoid features, but as Bryan said, not what we would consider attractive to us. But he that is exactly correct, because he would come out of the room with the alcove, both on the ground floor as well as the upstairs area. Those were the two areas that you would see him coming out of in the room. And lo and behold, we found a rock, a hand-sized rock in that bedroom that every single person approached but didn't feel comfortable touching.
Yeah.
I kid you not. And so we finally figured out that it was his rock. It was his special rock, and he wanted his rock back. So we ended up, Bryan had mentioned about the woods behind the house, and somebody else also had mentioned about maybe giving him his own space. So actually, a friend of ours did too. So there's a shed that's between the forest area and the house. So we have now turned that into his house. We took the rock, put it back in there. We also gave him a bell, because even though a bell to us is annoying, a bell to him is music. And I gave him a beignet, a fresh brand, made beignet yesterday with powdered sugar on it. And of course, we got up this morning and some animal had eaten it, or maybe he ate it. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Do you see this? The chat wanted you to see Trilogy of Horror. I don't know why, but I guess like the size of this little guy. Do you remember this guy? I don't know if you ever saw this movie.
Yeah, no, I remember this movie. This is
yeah, it's a little bigger and different. This is
just I'm sharing a picture right now with you, and you can put it in. Kind of like this, but with longer nose.
Yes.
Really not pretty. Very angry. Sorry, buddy, but you're not attractive to humans.
And we're not attractive to him either.
The grimace on this man. I'm gonna say man, because I don't want to use it. I don't know what it is as far as a sexual orientation for these elementals are. I don't think they have one, but it seems more masculine than feminine. And he at times when I was chatting with Lynn, I can see him. She was just outside of the second floor, and he had his head between the two spindles looking down or whatever, and he was just, pardon the expression, he was calling her a bitch, and he wanted her out.
Yes, absolutely. And is when Bryan was seeing that, I was sitting in the room seeing him looking through the spindles, and I said, he's here, he's watching me. And Bryan said, oh, I know he is, and he's calling you a bitch. And it's like, I could hear the grumbling. It was almost like kind of like, but it was like a growl almost when he would but yes.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, and then I'm going to let you answer the question. I'm going to jump up and get my cigarettes. This is the deal. It's elemental. It was there before you.
Yes.
There was something in the house that, and this is what I'm getting before I hear any more, because I don't want to pull off of what you're saying. So I'm just going to lay out what I feel. The land, connection to the land. there's more. And there's something else going on where I'm trying to put this delicately. The weaker humans that have passed in the area, not just the land, not the house, not the in the area,
He collects.
could be stuck in like a spider webby kind of effect thing for
That is-
some reason.
Yep.
Can't sort it why, if it's intentional or kind of something like a side effect, like almost like a residue would be, like say honey to the wax, or the wax is, you know what I'm saying, like an after effect. I don't know if it's an intentional deed.
I think that it is.
But you see what I'm saying. So let me grab my cigarettes. Go ahead and answer that. And everybody in the chat who's just coming in, I want you to know that we're talking about, yeah, tell them what we're talking about. And okay, I'll be right back.
Elementals. And, I had mentioned that particular ring thing to Bryan. Remember, Bryan, I had mentioned to you how when he walked out of the room that I noticed the circle of faces. I mean,
Yep.
that my half sister had also seen laying down in the bed of my deceased sister's room when she was attempting to sleep. She could feel something coming to the thing. And the thing is they carry a negativity about them. I found out that the history on this house too, that the last 3 people prior to my sister had terrible financial luck, and they foreclosed on the house 3 times in a row, 3 different families. Well, my sister had paid cash for the house, and so his antics of having her struggle financially wasn't going to get her out. As a matter of fact, it solidified and stuck her here even worse. But I really do believe that because she had his rock, and because she was trying to handle him as a ghost instead of an elemental, that part of her illness may have been created, and her demise occurred because of that constant negativity and attack in the house from the entity, because she wasn't handling it correctly.
Yeah.
Which is sad. All over a rock, somebody has to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sort of there with you. I mean, if I had to say which side of the fence I was on that one, I would say that it's possible over time, because like I said before, the weaker, whether that means infirmed or depressed or, below the line of the lower emotions and constant, it can play on that and push it down further.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
What happens, and this is what I was getting from it. Lynn told me that she was, helping to bring over to the other side some of the lost souls there, and they are lost. And the way this thing is working, and the way I get it, it uses their energy of that lostness. He has a control over, or Svengali is a better word, over them. And that energy that he's pulling, it is negative. It's very, very negative. It's very, very dire. It's just depressing.
Yeah.
They would love to get away from, but they are totally powerless to do that. He will not allow that. And then what's interesting is, so when I see the property, I see this other properties around it and the woods. He owns all of it. And when I'm telling you he owns it, that is his property. It's been his for thousands of years.
This is what I'm saying. If you were going to be there longer, I would say plant a fruit tree.
Right.
Several. And, do it, treat it as a Native American thing, very much like I do with the sage ceremony, with finding the tree in the spot that will accept it. Even if you plant it, that's fine. But it's an offering. And, somebody in the chat said, Native medicine man, if you were going to try to cleanse that property and put up a continual fight to set a boundary, I would say yes. But since you're not going to, you know what I mean? Or whatever you're choosing to do. Mm-hmm. At this point, I would just let them know that. Look, I don't plan on, whatever. I wouldn't battle. I would just appease it. But I would also put boundaries.
Right.
Acceptable boundaries. I will provide. My thing is, I wouldn't really go all the fruit and stuff, the planting of the tree and putting back to nature. That's good because you're honoring his property, like Bryce says, as well as space. There shouldn't be a house there. There shouldn't be any. Just like Amy Allen says all the time, nobody should be here. It's going to be a constant battle. Why do it?
Yep.
That kind of deal. But you can, like I said, we can send a thing in there to back it off for a while, to get it to understand. Look, we're not trying to take it from you. Right now we're just trying to coexist. I honor you. Sorry for whatever happened. Take back the rock. Take back do you still have it, or did she have it? Did he get it back?
I took it out to I had my son actually take it out to the shed that we've now dedicated to the to Hogwarts, as my son references. Set it on a pedestal, and we've taken a bell and hung it over. A friend of ours, Jim, had mentioned to hang a bell over because it likes the bell because it makes music. And then we also then put its treat there on that little stand with the rock. And
that's funny. I was going to say a radio, a small transistor radio on, the light music or whatever, just all the time, and just say, look, we're just trying to pack this up, clean this, sort it, do whatever, and whatever, and back off. But again, this with anything, you have to be like, looks real strict and say, look, I will give you this, like a voodoo similar. I'm no scholar in voodoo, guys. So if you are, don't, I'm not trying to get it exact. I'm trying to give you the idea. Basically, they have offerings, it's cornmeal, it's honey, it's whiskey. And that's what I was getting with this thing, with this little spirit here, because I was getting more like whiskey and cheese, you know what I mean? A rum and cheese. Well, and it also, trickster in mind, I don't want to say it out loud, but if you can understand what I'm putting down here, it's almost going to buy you time. They're so busy for a while.
So when I mean, this was a long period of time. Lynn and I were going back and forth with things here, and she was updating me. And what was very interesting, I was pretty much doing this cold, and I love doing things cold. For the most part, you gave me a little summation, and I kind of I did my thing, went in, and I just started picking up, bing, bing. And the more I do it, of course, the clearer it is. And that's when I told her at one point, okay, there's a room in the top. I can still see it right now. Top second floor, closest to the street.
Yes, and I didn't tell him living in a 2-story, and I was in a 2-story house. He knew, he picked that up, and it is the room that faces the street.
And I told her, I said, take a plate and put some cookies on it and half a glass of milk and leave it there and say, that's yours. Leave us the F alone. And that was it. And then after this, the connection to the rock came, and I'm going to say, Lynn, because you've been frustrated. So you're like, what the hell? It's just a freaking rock. And I said, well, one person's rock is another one's treasure. If someone gave that to him, or something gave it to him, or if that was a connection, that was the rock in the village that his area that he grew up, there's your connection. It may be a little bit insignificant to everybody, but all of us have that like little item that like, it's a piece of cloth, grow up. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This has been in my family for, and he's very protective of it. And I'd love to know what's in that rock.
If people could die, I mean, literally get so sick over coal from the Titanic. I kid you not, more than one case. I mean, there's time after time after time. These things are proven. So that's the whole point of what I'm saying. Now I could be wrong, because I'm looking at this from the nature vantage point. If we just break it down to the elemental base points, it's nature. And anybody that you take away something that meant something to me, whether it's, this rock or this coal that this thing was attached to, or the couch or the mirror or the vanity or the whatever, I've seen stories of silver serving spoons.
Yeah.
You know, it meant so much to the person, or brush those brushes and the mirror, you know, things. So anyway, little, just, you could name stuff all day. So the thing is, it's been disrespected. There's been some kind of an upheaval and change in the environment. There's the whole thing with emotion of, God bless you, with the whole death and the crossing over, and there's the pain thing and everything else. And whatever this is stuck in this spider webby goo, what did you call it before? Almost like a force fieldy kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's almost like a wall of clear jello.
Yeah. It's an energy field, and it's actually what I told Lynn to wrap her and her son around. White golden light, blanket of protection and bubble protection from God. And on the outside of it, this is the key, you put mirror.
Yes.
And so you can see out, but they can't see in. And you should always, and I actually have been focusing on doing that for Lynn right now. Because he is peeking at her and like kind of like, is she done?
Yeah.
Move on.
Well, here's the
he's
thing.
not happy about it, but he's dealing with you right now.
You have got to take the stand of, yo, dude, don't start none, won't be none. I'm an outside person here. I am coming in here to handle some business. You can understand that. You've handled business for so long, right? And then on top of that, you know, I understand what you've been through, and I'm sorry that happened. We're doing our best to fix it. Here's a bottle of whiskey, some fine cheddar cheese,
tobacco.
You know, I'm going to plant, before I go, I'm going to plant a fruit tree out there, and you can lord over this for the rest of more millennia.
Yeah.
I respect that. And, you know, like that, but don't, you know what I mean? It's not a challenge, but, you know, you kind of like, but just, as long as everything's copacetic, everything, you know, will be copacetic.
You know,
Because otherwise, we're going to soak that bitch in some salt. You know, that whole fucking house. You know, so, you know, we're just going to throw light to just go cleanse the area. You see what I mean? Keep doing that, guys. Just keep working up that energy, looking into the light, burn your sage and everything else, because we're going to do this.
With Lynn, he doesn't like her. And he knows he can't do anything about her. And he's frustrated.
Oh, sure.
Because Lynn is the first human he's come up against that he can't. And it's frustrating the crap out of him. But this is what I still get from him. There's a little bit of respect in him for you.
And that's just it. Let him know it's mutual. And
he
just
knows that, like, I'm not going to win with this one.
Pardon the French. None won't be none.
I'm not going to win with her.
Well, and I
hope
that he appreciates the fact that we're leaving him treats now. So we're probably.
He does.
Well, this is it. But this is also the thing. You've also got to put that at a thing. So, like, you know, you can do it. You set your own time thing, but it's like not. He can't go around acting like Helen Keller, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, look, this is the way it is. I'm going to do this, this, and this. And before I go, I will plant, you know, a fruit tree, or you'll have a tomato plant, or whatever will grow in the, you know, whenever you're gone. You know what I'm saying? How do they say it on the menus? Within season, or whatever you call it?
When in season. Yes.
When in season. And just do something like that. But and say, until then, here's a bottle of Jack, you know, and some cheese, and, you know, some, you know, Granny Smith apples or something. Go over there and chill, and let me sort this, and then you can whatever. And I'm sorry.
I think I used the term, you can bargain with him. I think I made
and
you make him a bargain. That's why I started.
That's the only deal.
Like, go up there. There's put the plate up. You know, I already knew he was waiting for something. And here's the interesting thing.
Like a prosecutor.
So what happens is, right? And I know she's got two options. And if she was going to sell this home, she's going to sell it. I know she's going to sell it. And those people won't know about this for a long, long time. But what will happen is their relationship's going to deteriorate. And that's when its presence is going to be known, but they're going to ignore it. He has property that's off your property all around you.
It's all over the place. This place only has his attention right now because the atmosphere drastically changed. There was a situation probably getting energy. God
He
help us off.
manipulated her sister. So I do believe that unbeknownst to her, she may have felt like there's some pain. He was scratching her and poking her.
This is
And then
it's serious.
what
shit,
he
man.
did was he worked off of her aura and started draining her energy, and she got sick because of that.
And then see, so
And
many
then
people.
that
How
was
many
it.
times has Amy said it? Kim Russo has said so many. Echo Bodine. We can go down the list. When
Yep.
people say, if people stay here, there was a story. I'll tell it real quick. It was a restaurant. They hire. I love people who call people for help and then they don't believe them when they tell them what's going on.
Oh, I know, right?
Don't waste my time. Don't waste my time or my friend. I'm just saying. So anyhow, they go in and she sorts the whole thing and she comes back. She sits down at the table. Look, you got to go. You got the infirmed father upstairs in the bedroom, totally admitted it. He's fine when he goes to the rehab, but when he comes back, he starts getting bad again. The 2 + 2 is totally equal, and get the fuck out. You know what I mean? So anyhow, she says, now let's go one deeper. If you decide to stay, anybody who passes or leaves in this home is running the risk of having this thing hold them back.
Hold them back.
And keep them.
Your sister's not hold back, by the way, Lynn.
No. She
fine.
Crossed. But do you see what I'm saying within that? Because she had you. So this has been, your battle's been going on for a while here, and you know this.
Yes.
So since this is, So, but that's the thing. She tells them that this is going to happen. These people are still sitting there. Nope. We're just going to stay because, we'll stay, and I'm looking at these, you know what I mean? This is not to insult. This is like a 3, 4. This isn't, they go up to 11.
They go past 11.
Yeah. But you get my point, but still respect,
Just so you know, a lot of the stuff that they say is demonic in a lot of places are elementals or jinn and pretending to be this way. But with Lynn, what I was worried about is her previous experience. And I was worried a little bit. And then when it was a split second worry. And then I was this is totally different. But I do believe, and this is what I got and never said it to you at the time, but I was going to say it to you after the fact. That battle you had previously prepared you for this as well.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. I was able to release one man that was here also circling the thing, and that was held prisoner here by the thing. But I was only limited to being able to release 5. But I believe that it did prepare me for this time frame. And and Bryan was such a great help, and he blew my mind, just totally blew my mind. I mean, he nailed it, just one right after.
I love my friends.
When I get going.
How could he know that? I mean,
I know.
Exactly. It's like, wait a minute, I better check. I've got my pajamas. I'm sitting there and I'm like, can he see me in my underwear?
Saw that too, baby.
No. I did not see you in
just
that.
So you know.
I did see the minute I did see something going on with you, and I did see your midsection. At one point there was something there. I didn't see the tie down, but I felt like there was something placed on top of you, almost like peat moss. Really weird, but it was like, okay,
it's
what that? But I don't know. I don't know elementals like this.
Yeah.
And I think he's aware that I was there, and he's like, pardon the French again, who the fuck are you? That's what it was like.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at this one, but I was communicating things, but then I was picking up on emotions, his emotions, and picking up on what he's saying. And he's like, you ever see the Tasmanian devil?
Absolutely, Kadiva, yeah.
It's just like that.
Yes,
it's like that.
We'll definitely get to that.
Get the hell out of my house, lady. It's kind of, it's very bizarre, but he's not going to win with you. He knows it. He's waiting for you to leave, but he also
Well, could be like the best time of his life
Right.
if he would just listen. So if you're listening, this is the thing. You're gonna get these things. And again, as my chat is throwing out ideas, because listen, guy, they're reading you too.
Yeah.
There is talent in this live chat and light workers in here. You have no clue. No clue. And more where that came
I know your
from.
audience.
So they're all I'm talking to the guy. So this is the thing. They're sending that out too. They're reading it too, and they're putting their thoughts in here too. So here's the thing. This could be the best time that you've had in millennia or centuries, because you're going to get these things. You're going to get that respect and that thought. Look, past is past. What's going to happen in the past happened in the past. But here's what's going to go down. If there are any human souls there that do not choose to be there, they will be released.
Yes, they will. Whether you
read
like
my
it or not.
intent and know that I speak this truth. They will be released.
There's at least 3 women there.
If you allow us to do these things, and we are asking now, this is the only time we're asking, you allow us to do these things, we will bring you some things like crystals, some nice amethyst, maybe some amber, and you can put that with that stone. And we are sorry that your property was messed with. Nobody likes that. But again, we cannot allow you to hold human souls there against their will. So that's going to stop.
I'm going to let you know something, Cisco. When you started saying that, where we will be taking, he basically said, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
And then what happened when you said crystals and amethyst? Kind of smiled like, ooh, okay. So he's willing to play ball.
No, I'm just saying, out of respect. And because that's how we are. We've taken so much from nature, right?
Right.
And we've messed with them. And I have absolute respect for that. For the raccoons, for the squirrels, for everything, for the chickadee, everything out there, the trees. We have messed with it. And I totally respect this whole problem with everything overlapping on top of each other and everything having to adapt and overcome. And so have we. But again, human souls, we can throw this out globally and there will be millions of light workers, mediums, shamans, medicine men.
He understands that it'd be constant battle right now. I'm still picking up on this stuff. It's just
back
boom,
up.
It's right there.
Let you do your thing.
I'm looking at you, Lynn, and he's like over here, and he's listening and whatever. But I really do think he's toying with this idea because he hasn't had amusement, and that's the term, amusement, in such a long while.
Well, there's more coming.
Because
there's just
something
more and more
about
people.
A belly laugh.
It's also like this. It's like that. You also have to understand. I feel like it's in the same respect as Bigfoot, the other creatures out there. Like I said, the raccoons. Name an animal that's not had to suffer or manifest destiny. Name a culture, name a native culture, a very short amount of time, genocide. So again, people like him or things like him, elementals like him, have watched us do this for centuries and almost, destroying everything around us and laughing. Because if we destroy the trees, we can't breathe. If we destroy this, you see what I'm saying? The whole shebang. They've watched this. I can understand the problem of the overlapping thing. I get it. And I don't think it should be happening. I think we should have respect and we should have boundaries and say, look, my square foot of real estate, yours. We didn't realize this land wasn't, for sale, it's yours. But anybody that's there is going to have a constant battle.
This is what I was trying to explain to Lynn, and I know her son was looking into moving staying, and I still to this day I highly advise against that. He's not equipped to deal with what's going to happen. and what's going on. I know he's trying to be a little bit more of a tough guy. It's not good for him. But I think, as I discussed with Lynn, that there is a spot off the property which is diagonal to where the home is that she can build a future on. And I also feel with it, there was a couple different discussions. She will sell the part of the house if she so chooses to sell the house, but those people that buy it, not going to be good for them. But I also saw another option, which he mentioned, and I was looking into it. And after all this, towards the end of this, I said, oh yeah, because I saw it. I saw teams of paranormal investigators, men and women, and they were having a blast in there. And now when I mentioned the appeasement and the entertainment, they're having a blast there. And he's taking part in it. And he's finding so much like amusement in scaring the crap out of people. And he's going to scare the crap out of them.
Well,
it's not going to be like any other investigation they've ever had. And I also, and I don't want to use this word or this person, but there's a guy in the paranormal business that I believe and it's going to be about close to a year from now. He's going to know about this place and he's going to want to do a show there. And it sounds like tea baggins.
Yeah. See, I would, if you were going to do something like that, I mean, I don't know what your plans are, but I'm just going to throw it out there since we brought it up. That's not a bad idea. I mean, there's been more than one place that the paranormal has held it up for history, for this, for that. But I would it would be a full-time job screening that and making sure the right people were going, because you don't want it worse. But here's the deal, does it want to be bugged all the time? I don't know. No, but if a family's going to buy it, I would man, I wouldn't let the elderly, I wouldn't let little kids, I wouldn't let the infirmed. I would get somebody go for a narcissistic business person that's always just career minded. I know it sounds funny, but
I can already tell you,
or a couple.
I'll tell you what they look like.
Other than that,
I'll tell you what they look like when people are going to buy the house.
There you go.
The man's heavy set. He's got a mustache and a beard. He's heavy set, and then the wife is like a blondie, dirty blonde, and they're kind of young and
good. Okay.
They're looking at all the possibilities. Their future, it's not going to be a good future for them. They're not going to stay married. It's going to be miserable. They'll be fighting within years, and it's not good. I like the outcome of, because I think he'll deal with it. He kind of, because it won't be constant. It won't be like Disneyland. The 7:30 ride to the Gnome is now taking. It's not going to be that. It's going to be just enough entertainment for him to laugh at it and walk away and know it doesn't last as long. Yeah. And he'll draw on that energy, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. He's going to draw off of that and he's going to laugh his.
Yep.
It's the weirdest
thing.
Well,
the thing is he's been doing it, Brian. He's been, and it's been
no.
Going
He hasn't been doing it for this. He's been pissed off, and he thought he was going to get Lynn out. He met his match. It's not going to happen. Right. Okay, but I can see him still not liking you. May take years, and you'll have an amicable kind of something. Just so you can have a mutual respect. That's what this is the thing I'm going for too. In my opinion, yeah. Because also too, because Lynn had mentioned to me and asked me about, here on top of everything else, this thing lands in her lap and she's got to decide and trying to do the responsible thing with a house that she knows nobody should live in. That's why I'm telling you, hey, sounds familiar. You might turn it into like a bed and breakfast. And just do paranormal groups in there. I mean, gosh, you could get your rent doing it that way if you advertise it right. But here's the thing. You got to be, everything you do with this almost has to be filtered through different filters.
So I just want to pause for a second because here's
Yeah.
Aunt Edna. She jumped in a little bit after we started, and I want to make sure she knows what's going on here. I know she's pulled up because she's
Yeah.
also Native. She's also Native, and she remembers and she carries those traditions in the true manner of the culture, also with a lot of earth wisdom thrown in there through her time. So, and Edna, we're thinking elemental, definitely within the gnome to troll kind of vibe. Totally disrespected because something he thought belonged to him or felt or did belong to him was taken from him. Been there for not ancient in the biblical manner, but ancient as far as been around him a hot minute, you know what I mean? And never going to go. So basically what we're shooting for isn't the whole, let's call, the local, which is not a bad idea if they're willing, the local native medicine man or shaman, to have them come in and put just a boundary cleansing on the place, because we're not trying to banish him. We're just trying to get him to back off, let Lynn handle her business, let her decide what she wants to do ethically with her responsibilities on this, and move on. So that's where we're at. And I'm suggesting, look, you can have this, and this, as far as planting fruit trees. I don't even know if that's an option, but anything edible, anything respect for the property. What do you think about that, Aunt Edna? I'd like to get your thoughts. Go ahead.
And also understand he's not going. And I
No,
think I mentioned to Lynn at one point, I was thinking
that's fine.
shaman. I was thinking shaman more so than priest. And I think I said if you bring a priest in there, he's going to laugh in his face.
Yeah, it's the wrong tool
It's
for the
not the
job.
right vehicle.
Yeah,
But
wrong tool
it's
for the
really
job.
weird.
Yeah, fruit trees. I see.
Fruit
There's
trees
something.
always good.
There's so much to that. It's not just the fruit it produces. It's the fact that you're replenishing prosperity and honor to the property itself, as well as
Right.
There are currently banana trees, kumquat trees, and an orange tree on the property.
Wow.
Yeah, he likes to, he'll deal with that. But the appeasing thing, it's really weird.
No wonder he's hanging on.
If I could, and if I had it, I would give him some pachin, which is an old Irish,
and tobacco.
Comes in a little jug. He would really like that. And there's something pachin. I'm pochin. If all the Irish people here, please forgive me. My Gaelic is like 0.
I don't have any of the Irish in me.
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
33, 42.
I've got a little bit of Scotch, like my daddy.
Yeah, it's kind of like an Irish whiskey, moonshine, actually, Irish moonshine. He'd like that. If you can get him a clay pipe, and it's Louisiana, you should be able to buy a clay pipe someplace.
There you go. I'm just saying, dude.
Yeah,
get him tobacco, drunk, fill him.
Put a clay pipe
belly.
and some tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
That boy's gonna have a good time.
Put some weed in that bitch. Just get a bottle of whiskey. Get him a couple of nugs. Just saying. Just because here's the thing. Something I'm sure you guys know that you know it's in the recesses of all of this paranormal information in our head, but they cannot help themselves as far as the gluttony part.
Oh yeah, they love it.
Once they have it, it's like, a frat boy on a 3-day weekend. They're just going to keep going until it runs out and then pass out.
The reason why I said cookies, they
buy
love
you
sweets.
time.
Yeah, the sweets. He loves sweets. The muffins are sweets, but those like a cookies, fresh baked stuff. He loves that stuff. I mean, like loves it, and that's
he respects. Respects. I'm getting gumption. So again, I'd metal garbage can, salt on both sides, baked banana and muffins, and I'd dump them in the garbage can, put a big thing of salt on top of it, and go. Be good. You can have it. You know what I mean? You don't have that kind of time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't want to look. Doesn't have to be a battle here. Like I said in the beginning, don't start none, won't be none. Whatever's happened in the past is in the past. We're getting the picture. We got what's going down. So here's the way. Here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
and
I try to ask
this way, or this way. If you get him to tell you his name,
I'm trying to find out his name because I think
it's one of the hardest things to do with.
It's really weird. I
elemental.
said to, not knowing everything about the room, I said, the room around the corner, the kitchen. Yeah, he won't go in the kitchen. He hates the kitchen. That's where you need to stay. And that's when Lynn told me, oh, that's where the holy water is in the sage. And I'm like, yeah, he ain't going in there. So I said, you should move your stuff down there.
Yep. Yeah.
Hilton.
Here you go.
Okay, that's it.
There, Jack's got you back.
Thank
Jack
you.
got you back.
Thanks,
Hi, Jack.
Jack.
Hi, Sapphire and Kevin and Kathita. And all you wonderful people in here. I love this chat so much.
But I think what will happen.
Echo Leaf.
Because
okay, Nana's been throwing a lot of good stuff out there too. And I'll tell you what, girl, I've been right with you the whole time. She had it from the beginning too. The only thing, like I said, if you want to get it again, if you want to get a shaman, go for it. And a local medicine, it has to be local, person, has to be. But here's the thing: how do you want to go with this battle? You want to call, the Sherman tanks in and the howitzers and all that stuff. We could do that. We could do that. We could, but again, I'm thinking of this very similar as I would talk about the Sabe, the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch. I'm thinking of the same thing as I would deal with it if it was raccoons that I found out. I decided to live next to a pack of them, obviously, or skunks or whatever. And do I want to really disrupt that, or do I find a way to coexist? With those that battle it or call the exterminator and things like, just there's a way, chill. I know I do it all the time. Everything eats in my backyard and they eat together. Things you would not believe I have seen. And it's amazing once the vibe is right. That's what I'm saying. Go for here. Because one, you've been through enough and you don't need to go through a battle. So I can assure you this, if you do, you won't be standing alone.
Oh, well,
and you already know that. So that's one. Two, you've been through a lot of emotional stuff, and I wouldn't freely give up any more of that. It's just like you've reached that point where it's just like, all right, here we go. What's it going to be? You're in that bathroom that somebody just locked the door and thought that they were going to get cheeky on you. You can turn around, you finish drying your hands, you turn around and go, what? That's where you're at.
He's not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, something's got to, here's the line. You can have this, this, and this. And what I'm saying again is, I have no problem with tobacco, cigars, pipe, clay pipe, like he said. You're not buying off. You're saying, these are the things I'm willing to give. Everything else is off limits. I need the time to sort this, and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do with it. And I'll decide after I see how this goes down. Like a mom, it's like you do your homework, handle it, that kind of and we'll see the outcome of this. Because it's free will, and you have free will, and you're a human being, and you have a soul. It doesn't matter. Your soul is just as old as they are.
He knows he's not going to win with Lynn at all, and he knows it can be more difficult, and he knows what's going on in this conversation right now.
Yeah,
and
they do.
He's seen the odds, and he's like, "Oh shit!" So he's willing to make deals.
There's a freaking army.
No, he knows it, and he's willing to make deals to. Kind of like you stay on that half and I'll stay over here for the time being.
It could be the best of times or the worst of times.
And he knows also, and this is, I'm still reading, by the way. I haven't.
I know you are, sweetheart.
Yeah.
And again, he's connected. He's so open right now. He's connecting all these things and sorting up and tying knots and, a continuation. Because like I'm telling you guys, your loved ones, everything continues on. Nobody is staggered. Everybody thinks everybody just stops. They continue to grow mentally and physically and, in knowledge and in, in so many wonderful things. And it's an amazing thing about time because, we think, gosh, they're doing this for this long. Look, my dad has been gone since what? I want to say 82, right? And he's just getting the ability to talk over the past couple of years because I've been sending him good energy. You know, it's like your happy thoughts and energy. And he's just beginning to learn to talk. So, you know, whatever you're thinking about the other side and how souls do this or how these dimensions all at the same time, just take your mind and just open it wide, not big enough to keep your brain falls out, but just imagine the dimensions and everything else, all this unseen world. It's just as real as we are, right?
100%.
Just as real as we are. And we're finding out so many things are connected. So that's what I'm saying too. A lot of the elementals, they get into this. It depends on what it is. Water sprite. And again, this isn't my wheelhouse. This isn't my, you know, it ain't my jam.
Got my wheelhouse too, believe it or not.
You know, but nature, if you just back up 40,000 foot view and say, how does nature work? Okay, it's pretty simple. It's the most simplistic, complicated thing you've ever tried to wrap your mind around. But if you just let go, just like a, you know, floating in a river or whatever, you could fight it, or you can lay on your back and enjoy it. Look up at the light and enjoy, you know, and go with the flow a little bit, you know.
He's willing to go with the flow.
Everything's good. And that's it, because it could be the best of time. So I'm saying, you know, go and get a nice fifth of whiskey, you know, Irish whiskey, you said, sir.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just,
you know,
immediately
throwing it out there.
The little clay pot is what I saw.
I'm going to tell you right now, this little sumbitch likes to party. I'm
he
saying,
does.
I don't know if it's legal in your state, but if it is, I'm telling you, a couple of nugs, if not, some tobacco, a cigar, some whiskey, some bakery items I'm getting. Bakery. This guy likes the sweets. And just say, here, take this, have a good time for a little while. I got some business to handle. And we'll see. If not, I'm going to get a family with like 7 loud kids.
A couple of dogs and this and that.
To buy this house. Dogs, you know, like pointers and, you know, some cats, you know. You know what I mean?
This is the weirdest thing.
You know, you don't want to play.
He's I'm going to say the term work with you on it.
There you go.
It's really weird. And something that when I told you about the cookies, I don't know how this works, but I know it. I just know it does. I just can't explain how it operates. So they can smell the bread. They can smell your cooking, what they, you know, especially the sweet stuff. And it's really weird. And I don't know how this is working, because if someone can explain this to me, but I know when you you took a fresh baked bread and laid it there in front of them, you know, in that spot, he'd consume it, but somehow in the physical world, it may get consumed by real world physical animals, but he's also consuming it in the same process. I can't explain it, but it's almost like the offer itself and what's along with it. Somehow he gets that physically in his realm, and he's in a different realm.
Yes.
He's in a totally different realm. He travels in and out, and he could be here in the physical. That's why he scratched you. He poked you.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And no more of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
no
more.
Scratched me. Yeah, he did
or no whiskey, no cheese.
Did you do the water trick in the moonlight?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
And here's the thing too. It's
that comes from a mutual friend, by the way.
Church bells, lightning, all of these things. But again, I don't think a lot of the standards, the lore, like, you know, vampires and garlic and that kind of thing. This is just, you know, look, again, respect, chill, you know, and again, you do not sell yourself short, people. Your souls. I mean, it's an amazing thing. You know, we're all ancient. You are getting there are new souls coming through, but I'm going to tell you something. A lot of my friends say, Bryan will probably agree with me on this. I don't know, Lynn, if you've ever thought about this, but there was a period where there was a lot of, you know, there's old souls that choose to come back and just keep going and going. Of course, every time you do that, you ascend a little higher. I think the percentage of people that come in, I feel you, come out and leave lower. I don't think that that's a common thing. I think that every time you come through, you gain a little bit of something, to just, some might shoot higher than others, in the vibrational jumping, rungs of the ladder there, but over the past couple of decades, it's been like less and less really new souls coming through because they're always replenished, just like, anything. I know it sounds funny, but and less split, if you catch my meaning. So there's a lot of souls that come through and decide to be reincarnate in several different, I know it sounds crazy, several different places at once because you get real cocky. And again, that starts to drain over time. Instead of replenishing, it drains. So it's been, for the time that we're in now, they kind of slowed down on that and did more of a building of the strength of the souls that are coming through, because they wanted some really light workers in at this incarnated in this time. I know that sounds crazy, but Lynn, I know you agree with me, right? So that's what I'm getting. So right now you're also getting an influx of everything that they're bringing in, the dark side's bringing in, and everything the light side is calling to for backup, bringing in for backup. So you got all of that on multiple levels and in multiple dimensions. Wrap your head around that one.
Yeah.
You guys agree? And you're seeing more of an influx of these creatures, cryptids.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you agree? I mean, that's your wheelhouse, Bri.
I agree. And I'm going to say something here, and I don't know what it is just yet. Although I did a remote view, that's one session, but I haven't been able to do the 2 or 3 of what's coming up. There's a lot of old spirits, a lot of beings, a lot of people be coming back to this time period.
Yeah. Oh,
and there's a reason, and it's weird. And us being here, I'll be brutally honest. I was told growing up, if you work hard, you'll have a good life and everything. They freaking lied to me. Okay. They lied to everybody. They screwed us because nothing works that way anymore. You couldn't have a shittier time growing up than now. I mean, where's the payday? Where's the house,
It's
the
coming.
vacation? And I'm going to say it. I'm a Gen X, right? Okay. Let me tell you something. We grew up
the original latchkey kids.
We grew up this way. We took care of ourselves. We did our laundry. We fed ourselves. We had to come back. We're the last kids, like beaten
we
without
sat
having
too close to the television set.
I mean, they actually had real TV there. We had keys,
lawn darts.
We're used to taking care of stuff. We're used to fix it. I mean, maybe that's why we're still here. Maybe they need us to fix whatever problem is. And let me tell you something. You're not going to like the way we're going to fix it, because all this, everybody's a winner crap, is going away. And I can just tell you something's going on right now. And all these spirits are coming back. All the extraterrestrials, Sasquatch, interdimensionals. It's all this time.
It's like crazy. I said, it's turning up to 11. People don't realize it goes up to about 110. We're getting there. Hey, just for a second, a little house cleaning. Hey, mods, is everything okay in the chat? Scott, you're welcome here. Everything's chill out. I'm telling you what, I need everybody in the chat tonight. If you've got a little extra light, I want everybody to concentrate real quick. We do a little thing here where we send out our energy. You don't have to participate, but I ask you if you're a light worker, if you are an empath, if you are any combination of those things. I'm going to ask us to concentrate that just for a moment. And I want to send it not only to Lynn, but what we can do is send that out to the universe. And then those people that need it, that are asking for that help and reaching out, they don't even have to know you. Once we put that light out there and they seek that, it's like It's almost very much like if you ever saw It's a Wonderful Life and all the stars are twinkling as people are talking and sending prayers up, and everybody had a different prayer. Everybody had a different good thought or good love energy to send out to the universe in a person's name. And when that person connected into that energy that was meant for that person, it just bam, hit all at once. I've seen this happen. It's the best way I can describe it. But if we put that light out there, those seeking that light will connect into it. So I'm asking us to do that now, if it is of your free will to do so, to send that light out. And I'm going to put a little thing up here, and we're going to direct it at Lynn, her home, her property, her surroundings, where she parks her car, her vehicle, every which way she goes in that vehicle, to an office, to a job, around, doesn't matter. All of the living things that are dear to her and are on that property and within that home. And for anyone infirmed tonight, for anyone seeking light, had a hard day, had a hard week, you had a hard year, a hard decade. If you're hurting, if you're sick, if you're alone, if you're depressed, come on into the light. We send it out to you freely tonight. Take some of this light, take some of this energy. All negative must leave, only positive can remain. All negative vibrations, all lower dimensional feelings, all harm, ill will, trickery, anger, revenge must end. All sickness must leave the bodies now. Light and love fills in the spaces that created. Everyone listening is being filled with light from the center of their bodies, from the center of their mind and their soul, and spreading through the body, out through the extremities, out through your toes, out through your fingers, and out the top of your head. That light is surrounding each person and connecting with their divine spark, moving out into the universe. So may it be. Amen.
May it be. Amen.
Amen.
Woo!
I'll tell you, I sent Lynn what you
Love
sent
this
me
chat.
earlier, a couple of weeks ago, Cisco, a
Yeah,
week and a
baby.
half ago. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, when first time ever I helped. I mean, I had a premonition call, whatever. I knew this girl was going to get it, wasn't going to be alive, and I've never experienced it before, so I had to warn them as a father. I have two daughters, so I wanted to warn them, and she
That
took
was a
it very,
rough one.
very well. The way Cisco told me, I've never done this before. Only done it for close people. So if you get a call from me and I'm telling you to do X, Y, and Z, I would advise you to do it. Especially if you say you need to go to a doctor, go now. But you'll find out if you don't want to do it within like 48 hours.
Yeah.
But
And it sounds scary, guys, but listen, we're here to do this for each other. The outside world made this creepy. The outside world they tried to take this from us. Understand this is part of the plan. To disconnect you from what is rightfully yours, that you were born with, that you came into this world with, your divine spark, your abilities, your sixth sense, your intuition, your gut feeling, your ability to connect into certain vibrations, to see in certain what's the word for it, Bri?
Dimensions?
Yeah, like dimensions, but it's not just dimensions, it's being able to see. I honestly believe that our peripheral vision
It's
was
huge.
much better,
It-
before they started putting fluoride in the water and, all these other things to calcify all of our sensitivities. You see what I'm saying here?
a lot
And
of
they're
times,
rightfully
yeah,
ours.
a lot of times what happens when people's abilities and they're not aware of their abilities, but it happens when you start first starting like, okay, cool, I'm a psychic. And then you start developing whatever. Everybody can be a psychic. Everybody has abilities, but it all comes from the peripheral.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
That's where it comes from. And when you start seeing things, your natural tendency to turn to see, take it in a little bit more. But if you start working on that, you're going to see it pretty well. And that's what's going to take in. But another thing we can do is, and what people don't understand is, there's no such thing as time in any of this.
Yeah,
Time does not
time is
exist.
a human
It's an earth
thing.
construct.
Mhm.
And the reason why every spirit, whether it's positive or negative, when you're dealing with them and you're crossing them over and well, I'm dealing with something demonic. No, you're not necessarily dealing with something demonic, because demonic stuff that doesn't play games with you. They don't play games. They're not going to wait a week or 2 weeks. They are going to screw you up immediately. So you're most
Mhm.
likely paying with something like a djinn or trickster or an elemental, whatever it is. They know everything about you. They can see past, present, future. They know where you're going. They know everything about you. And when
Mhm.
you take back, and when I started doing this, and you start seeing past, present, future, and what everything is working at the same time. So everything you did when you were 16, it's happening right now when you're 25, when you're 30, when you're 60, when you're 90.
It's so
All of it.
crazy that's why I say, like, when people hear, like, people running down the stairs, I often think, again, how do you know that's not you in the future or the past? And it's an echo of you, again, you have to look at everything. But if you have the ability like Lynn does to walk in, or Brian, he doesn't have to be there, to walk into a situation and sort it real quick. You don't have to go through all that, but it's good to talk about these possibilities, because I believe that you can go back in time. I don't know how to do it, but I would be absolutely nuts to think that it's not possible.
Most of it is possible when you're sleeping.
Probable even.
So what I always tell people is, um, so there's dreams and then there's experiences.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
True.
in a dream, Lynn, I think you had something green on and you may have been riding a bicycle, but I'm not sure. In Cisco, you were there and there may have been a broom.
Was I riding it?
Experiences happen. Experiences are, Cisco, you had a Bowie knife on the side of your pocket. You were
Hell
climbing
yeah,
up
I
the
did.
wall with 2 of
And a
them.
machete in the
Lynn
other
was
hand.
down there guarding you with, an M60. And then the next thing you know, a bull came.
Go
I mean, like,
girl.
it's so much detail. That's one.
That's
And two,
how wait, how come I don't get the M60? Wait a minute. What kind of screwed up dream
because
do you
Lynn's
have in here?
covering you right now. I'm just using
Okay.
an example.
I trust you.
So when you have experiences, they actually just did an article based on this recently. I'll try to send it to you. When you have these experiences, 9 out of 10 times, when you start doing them, okay, like for me, I'll wake up tireder or exhausted
Mhm,
because I've been
mhm.
up all night, technically doing this.
Very
Did
true.
you ever do the thing where you dreamed you were walking around in wet leaves and barefoot, and you were outside and you thought, "Oh god, it's a dream," and then you get out of bed and there's leaves in the bed?
I haven't. I've
It
had
hasn't
something.
happened to me either,
I
I'm just
had something
asking.
similar to that, but with hair, which is really really weird.
Hair.
And then if you've ever had those dreams where you feel like you just dropped in like a roller coaster,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
and it kind of like
Yeah.
whatever
Or
you
you're
can
falling
feel it
off
in
the
your,
bed.
yeah, you can feel it in the stomach.
Hate that.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what that
Jeez.
is.
Jeez, man.
What is it?
That is you had an outer body experience, and when you connect it with your body, that's what the the little thing
Yeah.
is.
Shh.
And then
I
the more
know.
you do that,
See?
eventually what you're going to do is you're not going to need to do that, and you're going to go. And
Mhm.
you can travel back in time in yours. That's
Yeah.
when most of a lot of the stuff that I was starting to do.
You gotta sort it though. You gotta look anything you exercise, you're gonna get better at. But here's the thing, I do want to put out a little disclaimer there. Here's the thing, and the reason I don't do that intentionally, because when you're out of your body, things can jump in. So again, I talk to all the people who say, I don't do, I just don't do the religion thing. I just, I used to have to pray before I ate. And, it was real cute when I was a kid. My parents used to listen to my prayers, and that was really sweet. But I don't do that anymore. I outgrew all of that. Well, here's the thing. There is a reason they tell you to pray over your food. That is so the only positive goes into your body. So call it what you want, but you're protecting yourself. And anybody that says, I don't want to wear armor going into battle because it's just too heavy. I don't believe in all that. You better put the armor on. Whatever your armor is, that's what I'm saying. If it's iron, if it's copper, if it's gemstones, if it's just putting the light around you all the time and remembering, because when you are in the dark, it's hard to remember you are the light. And if you connect into the light, and people are putting it out like we just did, if I connected into Bryan's, if I take all of this and put it all together, how many times have you heard people standing in a circle? I don't care what culture, standing in a circle and everybody putting their intent on one thing. So now you can make that in a grass hut. You can make that around a fire pit. You can make that around a drum circle, standing in a church, on the top of a mountain, whatever scenario. Go back 100 years in Scotland, and people do it in kilts, and people around Stonehenge, or whatever it may be. People have been doing this and gathering in one spot with the same intent for millennia. And you can't tell me it worked then and it doesn't work now. It just looks different, and they don't want you to believe it. Because if people come together in light, darkness doesn't have a chance.
Yep.
But they confuse you with little tidbits of fear and all these arrows, and some of the arrows are on fire, and they sting and they hurt and they distract you, and they make you fear and worry and get sick and depressed, and then the drinking, and the next thing you know, you're buck naked on the roof watching porn and drinking whiskey, and all hell's breaking loose. I'm just saying, that's what's happened to people when they gave us. We didn't learn anything from the rat experience and Edna backed me up. They were doing these cocaine experience, LSD experiments with these poor rats. Why they're always picking on the rats and the mice? But they put them in a thing, and they could hit the button and get some coke, or they could, what I'm going, or hit the button and get some food. Well, before you know it didn't take long. They forewent the food and went straight for the cocaine until they died. And that's not unlike people with, name your drug, name your device, your addiction, whatever it may be, gambling or shopping or who knows what. Some people just implode and go into their own, cocoon and forget to come out, enough. But again, they did this by making you be like hamsters on a wheel. And at the same time, you're so busy running because you don't want to trip that you forgot you were one of the most powerful beings walking. Why do you think everything that doesn't have a soul wants yours? Why do you think everything that's ancient cannot beat you if you know what you are? Why do you think that they don't want you to know this? What are they keeping from you? Why are they trying to change your DNA and get you further and further away from your source so you can forget how powerful you are and that you don't have this? If that's not true, why do ghosts have the choice to cross over or not cross over? Free will. Some of it is on purpose. Some of it's confusion. But some make a choice. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Bryan's gone in and crossed more people out of what's called, in voodoo, the unseelie fae. In Catholic, I believe in Catholicism, it's called the purgatory. In some places, most mediums and psychics and people like that and remote viewers call it The in between.
I call it the ether. And
Okay.
there's two ethers, by the way. So if you have earth in the middle and heaven over here and hell down here, there is a heaven and a hell. In between each realm is the ether. And you get put there. And a lot of times what happens, I'm talking about the
while
heaven
you're
side of it.
sorting,
Yeah, what happens is
while
depending
you're processing,
it depends on how you pass. Now,
and
normally
also
what will
where
happen,
you are
yeah,
vibrationally when you pass. That's so important, because if you're confused and or you're really depressed, okay, where are you next to that line? Pam Locke talks about the line all the time. How many of the heavy emotions are you passing with? And then you add confusion and anxiety and whatever, or just plain not knowing, and you're like, what's going on? Well, where was your head at when that happened? That's so important.
they give you signs too. I mean, fear and whatever. And normally you'll be greeted by someone or something that you know is familiar
Yes.
to you to move you from physical into back to, I call it heaven. And then you
Not
go through the
physical, yeah.
orientation.
And you're vibrating, and that's
Yeah.
so important. So that's why we're trying to explain about the in between, because like I said, so many of us has had to cross people over through that. First you have to get their attention, then you have to sort it. So it's almost like a half ghost. It's almost like dealing with somebody here that's earthbound. Am I right there? Like
Yeah.
kind of like a half ghost. So they got halfway there, but they're depressed and they're not sure and whatever. And sometimes people have to go in there. I've known countless mediums and psychics and people that have gone in there. I had one lady, she went in there, she was doing with the voodoo thing. She kind of went into the fire. It was wild, but we're all there just to make sure she'd get back out, because she was dealing with something she didn't really want to have to deal with it. It was an extremely violent situation. It was a wild night. So anyway, that's the thing. And if you could get them to listen, and it depends on who goes in. You know who's got a great story about this is Spaced Out Radio.
Dave Scott.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking about his
friend.
mother. Oh, his
No,
friend.
his friend went in there. God, and again, there's another one who has abilities, that are amazing and never talks about them. And I'd love to get him on and talk about it. But anyway, I don't want to tell his story, but basically, going in for a friend, and almost like Bry's talking about, like an out of body kind of dealio, a little bit more different than remote viewing, but similar. And he goes in, and he's sitting on a step, like a stoop, like a brownstone kind of a deal. Like you can almost see almost like you're watching a play, and the spot that his energy brought him to was like a spotlight on a section of a stage in a play. Imagine it that way, almost like that part is lit up. And he described it beautifully when he was saying, and there his friend sitting on this stoop, these stairs, and his kind of head's down, and he could feel his energy, and he could feel so many things, like, the love and the familiar energy and stuff. And he could look around, and he could see the eye shine in the darkness of different things. And the light that this guy still had on was enough to hold that back without even knowing it.
Yep.
But he was so drained and in such a spot and didn't know where he was. He's just sitting there on the steps, and like, here comes his friend walking up the whatever he saw, the sidewalk, the street, whatever. Hey man, how you doing? What are you doing here? And coaxed him through. Amazing thing. So again, if you're in this box and you can't, and you've just barely popped the lid off, and you can kind of see some things that might be interesting to you out there, just bust through the box and open it up, because they're the ones that put you in the box. You're supposed to be out here in this free thinking, like, okay, Lynn's got a troll in her house. Let's sort it. There's no reason to have 15, weeks of, let's study this. Let's get some expert. Let's get some people in here to talk it through, and get a panel of corporate execs to go see what it says on WikiLeaks or whatever it is about it, or Wikipedia, whatever the hell it's called. No, this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with nature. You're dealing with something that's been around a long time. So have you. Basically it's like what's that thing with the whistle, the high noon kind of thing? It's like here, you know. All right, here we are. What are we going to do about it? I can buy you a beer, or we can go outside.
He's still
That's
paying
what I think.
attention, by the way.
Yes,
I'm just saying.
He goes away and then he comes like it's kind of like, oh, damn it, you're still here.
I'm the chick that
And he's
makes
also
Bigfoot
wants
a sandwich.
cookies or sweets.
he's waiting for his treat, and I've asked my son to get him some Danish.
Yeah, he wants more sweets.
He does want more sweets.
Yep. So when you're ready, like I said, you get the tobacco, you get the whiskey, you get the whatever, and again, like I said, time is different. It's going to give you a lot more time than you think. It's not like, frat boy on a weekend. It's going to be a little bit more like a month.
You got to let him know. And I said, because I thought you needed Monday, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You just let him know, like, when I come back, I'm not going to play a game again. You go and do your thing. I'll drop you some cookies, whatever. When I'm back here, you go, and he'll do it. Because he doesn't want to have any problems with you.
Yeah.
He really doesn't.
Boundary. This is it.
Yeah. He's really frustrated when you come up against your match or somebody that's not going to take your crap.
It's a mutual agreement to,
kind of like
respect
my
each other's
youngest.
boundaries.
Yeah, my youngest,
That's the way it's going to be.
Crying and the first kid I've ever seen on the floor, whatever. And my wife and I just walking over them, ignoring them. They know they're not going to win. And after a while, they submit. They may not like it, but sometimes the road less traveled is the best option. It is about respect. There is a respect here right now.
And it's, like I said, my big thing is, make them a sandwich. It's one of those, but not in this case. But I mean, like I say, boundaries. I put it in cabin 22. Here's Aunt May, Miss McGee. This whole time she's baking apple pies and putting it on the giving rock. And if you don't think there isn't such a thing and get a giving rock, I don't care what culture. There's something like that. It's a Karen or it's this.
Just look
or it's
to the
that.
Netherlands.
It's in Iceland where they're giving to the little people who live in the rocks. Just I could go on in legend and lore forever in any direction that you point at, and there's going to be people in here that know a lot more about it than I do. I'm just saying that it's in every culture because it's true. Herbal cures are in every culture because it's true. 2 and 2 does equal 4. I don't give a shit what Common Core math says.
Right.
You're not fooling me with that shit.
I think, Lynn, you got this
Chaos.
already, but you let him, you let him know it's on my schedule, my time when I give you, because he's trying right now to take a little advantage.
No.
Just letting you know that.
Because when's the last time he had Danish?
Yeah.
When was the last time somebody went to the liquor store? Does he have access to DoorDash? Because
he's happy about it. He's getting the sweets. He likes the sweets.
Yeah, something ate. The sweets were gone this morning, and his rock was knocked on the ground. So when my son went into the area to check on the sweets to make sure they weren't covered in ants and stuff like that, he picked up the rock and put it back on the pedestal for him because he had a feeling that that's what would please him to do. So that's what he did. But he hasn't had any sweets yet today, but he really liked that one yesterday. That's for sure.
I could say I could say felt it too. And here's the thing. We put that out in the universe directed to anybody who needed that. That was done in love and light. Mm-hmm. That wasn't thrown like, a shot across the bow or nothing. That was us sending light into let me put it to you this way. If there's a shot sent across the bow, there will be no problem noticing it. You know what I'm saying? This was sent love light out into this, and it was sent out with the intent that anybody who needed it can take a, what do they say? Like take one, leave one kind of thing, like a book. I love
take
those
a penny, leave a penny.
Cool. Yeah. So it's like that. So what we did was sent that light out because I want you guys to get used to doing that, because we often do it if somebody in the chat is feeling down, or we did it for Lahaina, and again, God bless those people. I'm not even going to get into that because I won't have a channel anymore. But boy, could we talk.
Don't talk about that right now.
Yeah, right now we're focusing on sending a lot of this light right at Lynn and her property.
Yeah.
You notice I'm not even saying you know what I mean? Because again, nobody should be on this land. This is a Bill Bean situation. His whole town was like this. All the ones that you've ever seen on TV, and again, the only ones you're going to see is a couple of paranormal survivors. Definitely an Amy Allen show because she deals with this kind of thing and sorts it. And, so many medicine men will never have a voice like that. So many wise people that are still quiet in the shadows, because we remember what happens to people that show the kind of abilities that they have. Because again, they don't want you to have it, so they want to stifle it out. No, we can't have that. Free thinkers, what? Well, good luck. So this is the deal. That's what we're doing. But if by chance, just by happenstance, totally by accident, there is something around Lynn right now that felt that, that's an appetizer.
He doesn't
Enough
want
said.
the problem.
Enough said.
With me, he's kind of got a good thing going. You know what I'm saying? So if he's getting his treats, and
This is what I'm saying.
make sure that nobody bothers the area.
Don't start no one be none.
No.
I don't want to say I'm the Pat in the paranormal, but I don't back down. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Terrier at one point.
I know where the tanks are parked.
This is, I don't know how to say this. It's not like you're going to be buddy with this thing. You're not. But he's liking
respect.
He's liking the way it's going right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's not thrilled about it, but he's like, well, I'm getting some sweets out of it. So it's kind of like when you bribe a kid.
Where do you get a load of Jack Daniels, honey?
I got to be honest. It does have a bit of a feel of a spoiled, rotten kid.
Yeah. Like we said in this little video here, it talked about the mead. If the fermented raspberry wine, look, we don't have to. Maybe a little blackberry brandy, if this thing gets closer to the,
Okay.
the cool days of fall or something. But for right now, you're getting Jack Daniels. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
Or, like I said, if you want to go and you want to get Irish and stuff like that, I wouldn't.
Your sound cut out, Lynn, just a bit. Just so you
Sorry.
know.
Yeah, we're not going top shelf yet. You got to earn that.
The thing is I'm leaving tomorrow to go back to South Carolina, and we'll be returning here because there's still so much
to do.
To do. I mean, I'm a one-man band over here. My son,
God bless you, baby.
Sort of thing, and other people have offered, when they can, to come and help me too. But everybody's got a life and things to do. So, I'm here, and for a while, that thing was just before we found out what it was disturbing our sleep. So I'm so grateful that I reached out. I knew that Cisco knew somebody. Bryan, I had no idea that was your forte. And so when I asked it just, all of the pieces fell into place, and it made sense and blew my mind, because I'm like, you guys, Bryan's amazing. He is absolutely amazing. Cisco, of course, is amazing too. But she knew that would be Bryan's forte, and that's why she recommended him. And then he recommended Cisco for the Native American stuff.
Well,
bang, 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 bang. That's how it works.
There's another person I contacted regarding the Fae and asking what you can do. And it's a mutual friend of I think all of ours, who's fantastic on the psychic side of it, is Katie Turner.
I love Katie.
Oh yeah.
Katie.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
these are reserves. They're absolutely reserves, and the reserves are top notch. Listen,
she was awesome.
Oh
I'm like, sorry to bother you, and she's like, you never bother. And I'm like, cool. This is what's going on. And I said, it's a mutual friend. I'll discuss later. I don't give away, and she's, because it was the full moon.
He doesn't need it anyway. You just you throw the energy and bow. There you go.
Yeah, what you did was I told her, through Katie, which I didn't think of it at the time because I know you can do this. She charged buckets of water outside in the element, positive thought, and you can do it. It's better than holy water. And if you're dealing with an elemental charge something, it's even more effective.
That's what I'm saying. Everything of the earth, every Native American, everything of the earth, charged water in the moon, put some crystals in. Listen, black tourmaline. Again, right now we don't need it. We got an issue. This is reserved, so you don't have to worry about adding anything on. I think that place is going to be calm when you come back. Again, I wouldn't come in with a bunch of stuff. We'll start with the tobacco and a piece of fruit or a Danish, if that's what you want to do. And sweet tooth, I get it. And then look, if you'll let me do this, this is what I will bring, and you go get a little fifth of whiskey, a little Irish whiskey, whatever. And the tobacco has to be chemical free. So it would have to be American Spirit, or get you a cigar. So you don't have to buy a whole pack. Yeah, I'm just saying, honest to God. And that's what's coming. If you let me do this, but all this pinching and showing up and trickster and things and hiding stuff, making it hard on me, messing with sleep and all that ends. And then we'll do this.
Right.
Or, like I said, paranormal groups every hour, on the hour, with equipment. Or, that's just one idea. Or,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of thinking, yes, absolutely. And I appreciate so very much to have you all on my team, of course. And
pleasure.
It's reciprocal too, if ever you need me for anything as well.
It works.
I'm kind of, because this house fell into my lap, there is not a huge expense for maintenance for me because the house is paid for. And I can't live here. I have to still live in South Carolina because I've got a minor child that is shared with, her father, and I have to stay in the county until she turns 18. So, the idea, and it's a huge 2-acre lot, so people could pull their campers in. They could pull campers in and camp.
Yep. If you could do that with the zoning, that would be a good money maker for you, kiddo. And just use that as the central whatever. Do that and do the paranormal thing. Listen, I'll put it out on blast if that's what you want. And you'll have groups in there sorting that thing and asking questions. His knuckles are going to be so tired from, twice for yes and once for no, that he's gonna wish that he had just let you do what you need to do. But you know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
But
because they're they're relentless with their laser.
They're going to get enough jazz out of it, your potential customers, to amuse him, and he's going to be amused. And I apologize using a him thing, but it kind of has a feel to it.
It does have feel. I'm calling it him. I would love to know what his name is.
I got that right away. Give us your name.
It's a weird. I asked, and I'm kind of asking in the way I would ask. It's weird.
Of course.
And I couldn't even fathom how it would be pronounced, but he may eventually tell you. And then another thing, I'm going to tell you that when you do come back, first thing you do when you come back, you let him know, listen, I'm leaving, but I will be back. But when I come back, you'll know. I'll tell you I'm here. I'll ring the bell, and I'll put some stuff in before coming into the house.
Okay.
But remember, don't start anything. I'm getting, when this first started, I got frustrated, and I knew it wasn't what you were thinking. It wasn't demonic. It wasn't that. He was trying every bag of tricks for himself. And then he met you.
Well, here's the thing too.
And he's not like
I got to throw in the fact that again, vantage point. I'm always about trying to understand vantage point because I'm so lousy at it in life, my regular life. Where you're just in it, and then you look back in hindsight and go, vantage point that might have been looked different to what you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But when you're looking on the outside and you're looking at this, what is he seeing? How is he seeing it? These people are coming, just very similar to a ghost, very similar to anything that would wonder, how far back do I have to move? You know, what's going on here? Again, like natives felt, like anybody that's ever been pushed out of their territory or had their territory, you know, ravaged, you know, however you want to put it, that their vantage point might be. So that's how you have to approach this. You know, Lynn's going to do it, but it also saw her in stages of an extremely emotional time, an extremely hectic, chaotic time. So he's also was getting this erratic, tired, you know, energy in spurts. So it's like, hey, this is just when Lynn was able to sort this and go, okay, now that's when it hit. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, again, you're not going to be that easy hit where you can just keep drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing like it's probably done before. Again, I've said this in cabin 22 and I told everybody, listen, light workers gathered without realizing why they were there. They were there on sour soil to handle an ancient creature that was collecting souls because it was jealous and didn't have that was the only thing it couldn't have, you know, and it found ways of manipulating humans and human ghosts to get that, you know, to lure its prey in. So it's not unlike this. However, this that we're that's happening right now is more like a status quo built, you know, everything was chill. I don't like these people being here, but hey, I can get energy and I can play around and have a little fun. And I'm pulling energy on this person and they just went away. I don't know what. And then another one shows up and I do it again. And some people are easier to hit than others. It's not the same evil-minded predator.
This isn't a predator.
No,
This is.
no, that's what I'm
I'll give you a
saying.
great example. Okay,
It's different. Yeah.
if you lived in a house, okay, and you have a front lawn, or you know, even if you have 200-foot property, okay. I live in a community; it's gated. Only have X amount of feet on each side. If one day I got there and someone just put their tent up and started cooking on my front lawn, I'd be like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And I'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we live here." I'm like, "No, you don't live here. I live here. This is my property. Get off."
Right.
This is what it's like for this creature. This is his property. It's been here longer than you.
Yeah.
It's been here longer than the natives. It's been longer than anything. Before there was
And
even
here's the
light,
thing. The
he was
natives
here.
knew it and did exactly what I'm saying.
And then that's how you
That's
kind
how
of
you
make agreements. Like, you know, if one likes socks, you give them socks. These are the pains in the ass. And I'm kid you not, the best way to describe it. You know when you have that missing sock in the laundry?
Yep.
These assholes are the ones that took it.
Yeah. Just little irritations, irritations.
And they do it because, ooh, I want that. It's a want thing. It's not
Like
doing
a
it to piss
crow.
you off.
Like
They
a
see
crow.
something shiny.
Yeah.
Oh,
And, you know,
I want that.
The thing
That's why I said the gems and stuff, you can leave them, you know, you can leave them in that archway, you know, for whatever you'll know then what you're picking. Just like, you know, go to like one of those places where they have them all dumped in a thing and you just reach in and the one, you know, you're attracted to them. You could do it that way because you're going to have that kind of pull. But that would be the final, I'm done. You know, thanks, you know, and carry on. Because again, I'm going to tell you what I just got, and it just hit me to, crazy. This is really going to put an exclamation point on everything. Lynn later on, how can I describe it? Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I know I'm nuts. The lion and the mouse. And I'm not in any way saying, you know, that somebody's like a lion and somebody's like a mouse. I'm not saying that. But do you know the story? The thorn?
Yeah, it's going to be
later
like
on, this son of a gun. I don't know where your soul is at the time. I don't know if it's a reincarnation but later on, he's going to come to your aid because you both respected each other. It's a good person to have in your. But you get that, Bryan?
100% got that.
Yeah, I do, dude. I'm saying it. It came hard too. But it's like I say that all the time because they're showing me that too. It's like I make friends with all the birds and the animals and everything else. And it's not just because it's my nature too. It's like what Daniel Brinkley says, and Lynn, you back me on this. He says, I'm such a hugger. And when somebody asks me why I'm hugging them, it's like, dude, I'm not hugging you. I'm hugging myself. I'm going to need it when I get over there on the other side, when I'm going through my life review and stuff. And I say that all the time with the animals. And I'm like, I'm going to have the best time because all these guys are going to be my friends. They're locking into me with a mutual respect. I don't care if it's a blue jay or a chipmunk. And you're making that connection in love. It's like, dude, I appreciate you being out here. Your calls warn this one and this one. It's an ecosystem. And we have destroyed so much of it with, we got to have this and we got to do this and all of these things that aren't important. And the most important thing is all around us. And one of those things are precious people we meet along the way.
True.
And that's why we were able to handle this in like record time, sort the whole thing, really. And everybody had a hand, from Katie Turner to Bry to Lynn, and I'm sure people around you, probably people you don't even realize, had a little piece. It's wonderful.
I gotta go tell Katie who it was.
And give her my love and tell her she needs to get on here. She can come on with all of us.
Let me tell you, folks.
Yeah.
The best at what she does. She's amazing.
I 1,000 times totally back that up. I actually on my show before my sister had passed, and I had to cancel everybody because I had to leave. So
it happens, honey. It happens here.
She'll come back on. She's everything.
One of my biggest things was Linda Godfrey, and we kept talking. And something happened to me. I got sick, and she got sick, and then we're back and forth. We're trying to get back. We're talking on the phone, and we're like, okay, next week, sweetie, let's do it. That's why I keep a lot of Sundays open, and I decide that day because I want people to be able to have that to jump in if they can. And we missed it, and God love her for it, because one of the best, investigative journalists out there for the paranormal, and mostly the Wolfman, Dogman, everything else, always treated it with respect. And wonderful lady, much like Rosemary Ellen Guiley. And
Rosemary's great.
Everybody comes in and does a piece of this. The best part of this show and what I've been able to accomplish over the past couple of years is getting a bunch of people together to have this for this reason. And that's why when somebody jumps in the chat and they say such and such and such, and so you'll see my face change, and I'm watching it and I am asking them questions like, okay, stop talking about it. What's going on? Because they're not, no offense, I don't know them, I can't judge, but I can't err on the side of doing something I don't want, to happen in the chat, or, over the electronics is what I'm talking about. So I tell people, stop talking about it. If this is an issue, email me, because if you're in an active situation and it's not handled correctly, bad things can happen to people that might be weaker, that are listening to it and don't realize they're weaker.
Absolutely true.
I've been in a room where on live radio, people were calling in and telling about something. They did have something in their house. It knew it. It took advantage of it. And like the movie Shocker. Yeah. And people were doubled over sick. So this isn't anything to play with. And people can say all they want, yammer, yammer, yammer. I use the Ouija board all the time. I do this all the time. I do this, and nothing ever happened. Look, understand one thing. I don't care how old you are, what degrees you have, who raised you, how you did, what you've done. You don't know everything. And and absolutely people I know that are so wise will still say they don't know everything. So understand this. If somebody's trying to give you life-saving information, at least put it in your back pocket in case you need it, because somebody out there might know something a little more than you do about a certain subject. And what this has shown tonight is that by doing that for all these years and filtering through people and talking it through, we're at this level where we can handle a situation that could have been a made-for-TV miniseries.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And still not be solved.
That's true.
Start to finish.
Matter of fact,
This is a non-issue now. It's going to work through.
she's going to write another book about this.
As a matter of fact,
She is.
I make you
I
I make you famous.
The thing about it
Go ahead, Billy.
is that when you're dealing with paranormal, I mean, my concern about having people, if it were a paranormal issue in that way, would be that people might take attachments home. But this guy's not going anywhere, so don't have to worry about anybody coming.
That's fine.
Anybody home with them, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, initially, he would try to prey, like I said, their aura and try to get. Somehow he gets energy from it. He enjoys it.
Yeah, and it's also caretaking, Bri. I mean, listen, the most important thing to remember about, and again, this is one where I admit I know very little about elementals. I always kind of just put everything that's nature in the nature, spot, and just
kind of, it's like the
and
fae.
it all balances.
It's a fae-ish thing.
But you see,
weird.
But if, again, anything in nature like that, whether it's a tree or a bird or a fairy or a leprechaun or whatever, everything's got a rhythm. And if you don't mess with it, it was doing fine before you got here. It's going to be doing fine after that. It's how we perceive it and what we're mucking around with it that changes things. It's like having a perfectly still, like, glass lake, and you stick your hand in it. Well, you force you into a perfectly normal, and now you see ripples. It's changed everything, and that goes out and affects things you'll never even imagine. I certainly can't, but I know it happens. I don't need to understand every bit of it, but what I can tell you, nature, if you go native, if you're sick for something natural, there's something here to cure it, more than likely. Am I right, Brian? So and again, Brian has watched me do this for years, and now he just looks at me and says, "Oh, okay," doesn't question it.
I don't.
We're the same with Lynn, and we're the same with Brian.
Every time someone says something, like even my other half, that my kids love you. They all like, "Can we say hello to Cisco?" I'm like, no, not right now.
Absolutely,
hello to Cisco. But I can't explain it it's Cisco. It's and I don't question anything, and I can't thank her enough, because when we met at the bash, needed that, and she validated a ton of things, because
it's not me, dude.
You validated for me, because I got to be honest, I do what I do. I don't publish all the time that I'm doing what I do, although I do readings for some people. I have done readings, and I will always try to help out people. But I like to be validated.
Oh, we all do. We have to be. It gives you energy. It's like
what I mentioned
that
the room,
boy,
and she was like, "I was hoping you would kill him." And like when I was describing everything, and you were like, "Yes," and and one of the things, I got to be honest, I was a little bit leery until I figure out what was. I was glad we were just texting, because I don't always like to open up an open conversation on this.
Yeah,
because
be cautious, people.
Right. And then I sent her great prayers, and you should say, if for what you do, you can say it the whole time. I could send it to you, Cisco, and there's a section in there. It's called Breaking Curses and Prayers, and all day long.
Yeah,
it does not matter if you are in the religion.
It does.
I'm not in a religion. I'm an ordained minister.
And again, there's been time with Bill Bean, has the spiritual warfare prayer, and I've told people, print it out. That's what it's there for. Print it out. Put one under your pillow. Put one under your mattress. Put one in the bottom of your closet. It sounds crazy. Throw some salt on it if you want. Cut the onion in 4 pieces and put it in the 4 corners, and see. You do all of it if you want.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe in it, you might as well throw a slipper in. You know what? At it, and that's the thing. So if you can sit here and you can sort, what am I dealing with? It's just every survival scenario ever.
Yep.
Okay. What's my environment? What can I change? What can I change? What am I dealing with? What tools work for that? You see. And it's funny how the crossover is amazing. So what do I mean by that? A young 8-year-old boy is seeing shadow people in the room, has enough faith or whatever to, evoke the name of Jesus, and it backs off. Well, why is it backing off with that? And it's also backing off with You
Buddha.
know, a Buddhist god. Yeah, I was going to say that, or crystal bowls, or, you know, vibrational music, or I could go on all night because it's light and dark. Everything, once you get past extreme love and extreme light, so much so that your mind can't even wrap around what, you know, that vibration, it's so high, into the depths of darkness, the absence of all those things, absolute, just, if the absence of love, you see.
Yep.
And then we're all the in between, and all of that has all been messed with to make it sound so much bigger than anything we can handle, when that's why we're here in the first place. So don't forget that. And you can do exactly what we're doing. You can do it because everybody's got a talent. Everybody's got that's
Everybody has the
special.
ability. Everybody.
Everybody's got more than one.
Angie
But
brought
it's the one you exercise and the one you feed, right? Just like the black wolf, white wolf thing. That's not racist. Just shut up. It's basically a difference, and it's yin and yang. Yin and yang. You know,
Black,
why do they
white,
always use
dark,
black and white?
light. It's all
Dark,
about
light.
dark,
That's
light.
why the
It's
black and
the
white is
balance.
used.
But
It's
you
the
know,
light
when
and the absence of light.
you to say what you were saying before is, doesn't matter if you're a Buddhist, a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, what I don't even know some of the other
A
religions.
native or
You
tribal
know,
or
like whatever.
of the
We're
earth,
all,
whatever.
well, natives are indifferent because there are different entity spirits that they go to for but the great spirit, actually the great spirit
Same as
is the same
God.
thing as Buddha, is Jesus, is whatever.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter.
and beans.
You can call it whatever you want. Some people, I hate when people call it source because they're trying to be politically incorrect. I call it God. Okay. I believe in God. I don't go to a specific religion. I was born into one, but I encompass a ton of different things from a bunch.
All
because,
wisdom is not found in
like,
one place.
no, it's not.
Mhm.
And
You know,
so that's the source. It doesn't matter. That's why the Buddha's saying it to get rid of it versus the Christian saying it does the same effects, because it's all the same God. And eventually you'll find out.
True.
I'm not
But as
preaching that.
at
I'm
the
just saying
same
eventually you'll
time,
find
oh
out.
yeah, and I agree. But at the same time, and we say creator, we say great
Creator, you can
spirit,
use
we
creator.
say
I used to
you
use God,
again,
but
and I say source, not to be politically correct, because never, not a day in my life. But just the thing is this: it's source when you're talking to minds that are just opening up to trying to be accepted. They try and accept for who they am, and they're reaching out for a base.
no, I
To
understand the whole
understand
concept.
you're connected and that's your source and your light is connected. It's a great way of explaining that that cord is never cut. It's been talked about in Greek mythology with the sisters and the scissors. It's been talked about in Stephen King's I forget what it was, an Insomnia, I believe. And all this different stories about this cord. That's you. And when people read your auras and things and they see that light, it changes all the time. I often tell people when they say, well, I had my aura red and it was magenta, it was purple, and it was chartreuse and green,
Changes
whatever.
all the time.
And I'm like, it's 5 minutes. What are
It
you
changes all the
feeling?
time.
What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Are you sick? Do you have a sore elbow? Do you have carpal tunnel, whatnot? Do you have a cold? Because you're going to be darker browns and some greens over here. And that's why mediums and people that wiser and more abilities than I will ever have can look at people and tell if your kidney is infected or if you
Yeah.
have a sinus infection, because they can tell your light. So that light goes where, and it connects into what?
I do
Light
that
source.
differently though. I
And love.
I've been trying to read auras for forever. And right now I can tell you every once in a while I'll get it. Depends on who the person is. Like right now, I can tell you that Lynn's is gold. It's solid
There's a lot
gold
of light
around
out.
you. But I've also been projecting to her a bubble, white golden light.
A lot of light. She's being
bubble
surrounded.
of gold.
So
Yeah, you can see it, and it's radiating.
Let's send that out one really quickie. I'm going to show you guys how quick you can do this, and everybody can do this at home. Unless you're driving 10 and 2, keep your hands on the wheel. So rub it, because everybody has to have something. You can close your eyes. You can look at your candle. You can, pinpoint on the phone like a ballerina, something. You look on a spot on the wall if you want to. and just rub your hands together. And like I said, everybody can kind of concentrate more when they can feel something physically. And you can feel the heat generating in the palms of your hand. We do it all the time when our hands are cold in the wintertime without thinking of it, right? So you can rub them around and then slowly, don't stop, but slowly separate them. And you can feel
the energy. Yeah.
you could pull that energy and how far you can get it to where you don't feel it anymore. So you can practice that at home. The more you exercise that at the same time, Lynn, back me up on this, the same time, everything within you is connecting into that. Your energy is coming out, and you see it all the time. And even Mickey Mouse cartoons with The Great Apprentice, he would do the balls of energy and throw them. That's true.
It's part of Reiki. That's where Reiki, the energy, the healing, it comes from. You're
all
manipulating your energy, and then you're able to heal through it. It's
and
really
you
weird.
Have that.
Yeah. If you start playing with it, I mean, yeah,
that's the beginning.
You can start playing, do that. You can do that. You can do things with family members. Like, it sounds crazy and it sounds like a child's game. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10, and don't be the guy that says 1.357. You know, don't be that person.
You're just exercising.
You always have those
exercising
people.
it.
Right.
So everybody do it real quick and just focus real quick on Lynn, her surroundings, her household, and her loved ones. Everything in her world, 360 degrees and above and below. And on the count of 3, we're going to send it. Send nothing but pure, positive, love, light energy. And it's 3 and then go. 1, 2, 3.
Woof.
Protection, baby.
Yes.
I love you.
Love you too.
We got this. We got this. And so, listen, why don't you take us out of here and tell us about your books, where to find them, and when are we going to see you again here?
Oh, actually, the end of the month you will. And I wanted to apologize to both of you. I was in Central Time when I called you, so it was like 9:30. I forgot that it was 10:30 at your house. But thank you so much for responding when you did.
Paranormal Hotline.
I'm up very, very late.
You guys you can call me in the middle of the night and I will answer the phone. You know what I'm saying?
But you see how fast, chat? I mean, all the listeners and everything else, we talk about this all the time. You're seeing it here live. And you're hearing this. This is all extremely new. This is all within the last, week, 2 weeks? Week?
Oh my gosh, the last 5 days.
5 days. See? This is real. This is like really, it's really, really close. It's the closest. Yeah.
Because when you know who to call, it's like, if you want really good Chinese, you got that number. If you want really good Italian, you know who to call, right? You got a guy. I got a guy.
She's got a guy.
We all do.
She got a guy when I was trying to go into a lodge, and then I'm like, okay.
Yep. Yeah. And tell us again. I cut you off.
No, you're fine. And I appreciate both of you very much, and everybody that's sending their love and light. And it's definitely returned as well.
I feel it.
www.lynnmonet.com. I am in the process of modifying my website, but you can still find me there. I've got the Omnipresent series, which includes Omnipresent What Happened Next and the soon to be released Omnipresent 111 Becca Drive. I've got the 4th book halfway finished in that series. I'm doing a sequel to Colors of Heaven, which is also the things that I saw and learned with my sister's passing. And of course, then there'll be a book on this one. And then there's also The Gap that is out as well, which is a book for adolescents and teens, but really it's a book for adolescents and people even 99. I have parents that are reading this book that are coming back and saying, I didn't even know that, so, it's good information for any age, really.
Yeah.
It's not
good idea.
Just not under a certain age, but you could be 99 and get something out of it. I didn't know that there was a trunk release in the trunk. Well, this is what it looks like.
I'll probably get my channel shut for this, but I used to lock my kids in the trunk just to show them how to get out. I mean, that's a good mom right there. I'm standing right there in the driveway. Okay, it's your turn. Get in there, feel around, adjust your eyes. And then pop that thing and look for this. And we have 3 different, and again, I know that sounds crazy, but this is it. This is what the whole show is about. It's a perfect way to give people tools that they can use. What good is it to live a lifetime and gain some wisdoms? You certainly can't collect it all. It's not all found in one spot. We don't even know what we don't know, right? Because we don't know. But what we did find, what we did collect and save, like our friends Rock here collected, and it was precious to us and it was worth remembering. And in a subject like this, there's so much, so many levels. But when you back up and you look at it just naturally and vantage point and consider the facts and take, the emotion out where you can, in some cases you can't, and then just sort it and go, what am I dealing with? Right tool for the job, and understand where you're standing, understand your own power. They don't want you to know that. Understand your own power and handle it, and understand where your weaknesses are and go, hey, I got a guy. And you call that person, or you ask your spirit guides to guide you, and they will, because they're only going to help you if you ask them. They can't just butt in. They try, but trust me. And when you meet people like this, what happens is it's so cool. My spirit guides get with Bryan's, and then that's what alerts us and clicks us in so fast, because
Mind drink.
Oh yeah. Sometimes their ours go to the bar together too, just like Steve Stockton's and stuff. But Lynn, it's hard for Lynn to do this for herself, especially when you're in a situation that's a drain emotionally and everything else. Yep. So it's wonderful to have this, and you guys have it too, because we're sitting here telling you extremely personal, things, if you really look at it.
That's true.
Because it's important to us to plant the seeds that is going to do the next generation that can do this. So maybe it won't take you 50 years to get to this point. You can jump ahead of the class, because this is going to get worse, because like I said, it's coming out of the woodwork, literally, and portals.
True. That is so true. I did,
Bryan, go ahead.
Because you would ask, I will be on your show again, the days of the month, and my podcast I'm hoping to have coming back by the middle of September. So it is called Synchronicity, the Next Level Paranormal. So it's going to be on Tuesday nights at 8 different times. So please be sure to watch that.
Here comes the bacon.
Bryan,
there you go.
On there as well, and Katie.
Bryan, where are we looking for to find you?
Facebook jail.
In a deep dark in a cave.
Facebook jail. I'm on every platform, Telegram, Twitter, everything, especially Facebook is Bryan Bowden. You can message me. You do message me if you have a question or whatever it is. Just say, hey, I saw you on Journey Through the Paranormal Podcast Gate, whatever. You have the longest podcast. I thought
you butchered the hell out of that. That's okay.
And then every Wednesdays, I was asked to. It was an honor to be asked. I'm a co-host on the Three Beards podcast.
Great.
8:01.
They don't know what to do with old Cisco over there. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Bryan will be sitting there going, "She's right. I'm telling you, you can look it up if you want." But and Bryan will be like, "Do."
It's fun, and I used to sit back because it's not my.
I do too.
I just have fun with it, and they're really good guys, and it's a really good crowd. And
they are. I'd love to talk to. I'd love to talk to them, but
fun.
We're gonna figure that one out. And then I do have BryanBowden.com that I've been trying to work on as of late, and life has thrown you a couple of lemons, so I'm throwing them back to people.
And you know what's cool too? Honest to God, I mean, I'm going to be honest here. It's the guy's been taking care of that property and sorting stuff, and honestly, I pick up that he messes with the ones that mess with others too. I mean, because he's drawn that way, drawn to that energy to energy kind of thing, and that's some of the windshields, the cracked windshields he pushes on and things like that. I mean, you're talking centuries here, so how does the land change? How long is it? It's a long time, but these people, these elementals, whatever, put here as caretakers. And native and tribal people across the globe, they understand this, and it's not even a question to them. It's just, which is again what I was saying in that chat that night. And not everybody's ready to jump to that, that hurdle and go, oh, it's that simple. I'm like, you don't understand. Sabe, which is the Ojibwa word for Sasquatch, Bigfoot. Bigfoot almost seems like not respectful. Not these are a people.
Yeah, they are.
They are a people. And again, we'll get into it on the big thing, the Bigfoot. I hate to even say it. The Bigfoot show that we're going to do. Ron Murphy's coming on, and we're going to really dig apart, that. But the thing is this: there's been blood tests and there's been things like that. They just aren't coming out. And when they do come out, it's just like a picture of a ghost. Oh, it's photoshopped. It's this. Do you trust the thing? Do the lab? And it wasn't the provenance of the samples and the evidence and stop it. It's time and time and time again. Things have been proven. So we'll talk about that. But the thing is they've been here to caretake, and we're supposed to live in some type of a balance. That doesn't mean we don't get to fight for it. Like when something gets a little aggressive, hey, it's just like humans and humans, So we have to look at it like that, because it's kind of like going and cutting all the trees down and putting up wind turbine things that messes up stuff and sends out sonic waves and kills fish and kills birds and costs more in the long run to run than just putting the trees up. Because listen, we breathe out carbon dioxide, the tree cleanses it and sends out pure oxygen. This shit's been working for a while. It's not broke. Don't try to fix it. Stop buying the lies. Go on with your life. Keep your lights on and get in with a good tribe, because we need every light worker out there.
We do.
I swear to God, I almost said swinging wick.
Swinging wick.
Candle, get it? Swing it.
Yeah.
That's funny. In my head, that's funny. I think I got a spirit guide behind me putting words in my mouth. Knock it off.
You never know.
Well,
all right, Bri, tell us again. The Three Beards is
Three Beards Wednesday, 8:01 Eastern to whenever
8:01.
He always likes to go 8:01.
Who's anal over there? What's going on?
It's Craig.
We'll talk
Craig's
about
the
it.
one that runs the show. And then I'm working. I was working on doing. I may do a couple of shows because I have a couple ideas for some shows.
Halloween's coming up. You got to get your foot in the door.
Yeah,
an old creaky door. Come on my show. Let's do something special for Halloween.
That's fine. My life is filled with Halloween on a daily basis.
I know. It's it's like everybody celebrates with you at Halloween, so it makes it special.
And then I do a bunch of shows. Last week I did. Every other week I do a show on Awake Nation, which is from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Which is I don't know. They just
You're not going to start throwing times and time zones at me, are you now?
No.
I
always do everything Eastern.
Had a battle, an ancient kind of like kind of like in the Warriors, like when everybody met in the street, and we were just like, look.
I don't play a time game. I mean, last week was like just show after show after show, and one was on Central Time versus Dave Scott doing from 12. Can you do an extra half an hour? I'm like, yeah, of course, Dave. If I'm up till 2:30, I mean, what's the extra half hour?
Hard no.
Which I love Dave. Dave's like a brother.
God bless everybody. I'm just saying in the commercials.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everybody.
I can't. I'm like, while you're waiting, if you're a guest, because it's like you get, and then it's like, and then you're back, and it, it's like an elevator.
It's a great show. Hard. Dave puts on a great show every night of the week.
I'm just saying, for me.
It's just tough if you're on the East Coast because you have to stay up, and then when you stay up, you're tired. And then by the end of it, you were like, "Wow, that was a good show," and then you get, and then you can't go to,
and then you can't go to sleep. It's like bartending. Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
I'm too old for that shit. Listen, guys. Yeah, I love y'all. Lynn, I'm glad we could help. I feel better. Do you feel better? Do you feel lighter, chat? It feels lighter, doesn't it, than when it first started?
much.
you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this circle down. We're going to close everything because I was calling in so much light around Lynn and everything else, so everything's closed down. That barrier thing, again, I don't know what you call that. It's like clear jello. You can feel it's moved back. You feel that it's kind of moved back, and it's like you got space, and I think everything's going to be chill.
She's got space,
and it feels good. It feels good. And you can't say enough words about how much I cherish having that ability, this is the reason why I don't just jump on things. I sort it, I filter it. It has to get past me. And then if you need help, the kind of help you get is like this.
Yes.
Yep.
Boom. And we're done. And I thank you guys for being such a big part of that. Listen, thank you so much. Please subscribe if you hadn't subscribed. We have a great time here. This kind of crap happens all the time. And it's interesting, and it's also very informative. You're not going to see it because some people look at this and goes, that is the most batshit crazy woman I have ever seen. You know?
Well,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Meet
but there's some wisdom in there.
Yeah.
What, baby?
I said, if they don't want to believe it, they're more than welcome to come and hang out. They'll meet. It won't take long.
Call the local university and ask for the paranormal department to come over there and sort shit for you and see how that works out.
That ain't gonna work.
Yeah, roll that dice. Roll that dice.
You're in a weird part of town.
Something like this. This could have gone really bad, really quick.
Yeah. Once I figured out what it was or where it was, I was very comfortable that it was going to get a resolve.
Beautifully handled.
Yeah.
Nothing. 5 stars across the board. Please get in the comments and comment. If you feel like giving us a tip, there's all different ways to do that. There's, super chats. There's the little $ thing down there, but I know times are hard. So all you need to do is just reach up when you go out and hit that thumbs up and tell YouTube that we might be batshit crazy, but we're worth watching and you recommend it. And I appreciate you being here. I love all my listeners. I'm going to put that little thing with the gnomes and the troll and the pictures. And I'm going to reiterate that when I was playing with AI today, and I'm not a fan, but man, art wise, it's going to be fun. So if it's something extra I could do for you guys to make the visuals better and get you more stuff to go with, hey, I'm willing to try to learn it. But I threw out there and I said, just for fun, I said, show me something of what, Lynn is dealing with. And I put in there with dark colors and purple and, whatever, and a couple other keywords. And those 5 pictures showed up. And I saw Bryan kind of shaking his head, and then you put up that other picture. It's like a combination. But isn't that weird? That's a special kind of WTF, I think.
I was going to draw it. I was going to draw it. I played with some of the AI. I'm not a huge fan of AI.
Yeah,
and then, yes, I am writing another 2 books, actually 3 books.
Yeah.
But I was playing with the AI, and you got to really get the prompts the right way. And it was giving me like a weird arc, but not what I needed. And then I would switch it to a different program. One's better than the other. And then you start drilling down on it. But you were pretty good. I mean, like that orc in the beginning but if you smush them and you put them in a little doll, like I have this animated thing behind me called King Candy. It's a little monkey. He was on the show the other day. But it's really small. It's
hey,
like
Brittany's,
really,
hey,
really
honey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just hollering to some people I missed here.
No
I see so many wonderful names going by here. If I missed you, I'll tell you what, I love each and every one of you.
Thank you
like
very
I
much.
said, there's so many people that listen after the fact and leave great comments in there. If mods, if you got a chance, go in there and see if you can answer a question or thank them for being here and stuff like that. The more we comment underneath the videos, the more YouTube loves us. And it's doesn't cost a thing. Just takes a moment, even if it's just hey, thanks for being here. So thank you guys. This has been awesome. Man, what a show, huh? I'm just, do you feel better, sweetheart?
I do. Yes, definitely.
I'm so glad. My love to all your loved ones. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting us and reaching out and following your guides, because like I said, now all our guides are they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Let's throw this at them. Let's throw this at them. And again, you guys might see that in your life too, and find out more opportunities to use your gifts. So Like if you're like Bryan and you're someplace and you get a flash about somebody, this is my thoughts and my opinion only. The reason I go up and tell them is because it's none of my business to keep that information from them. I don't know how long it's going to take their loved one to find somebody else who's going to do it. So I just do it and I leave it where it lays and I walk away. And I do it as kind as possible. I don't do, psychic snipering, but I walk up and I very calmly, excuse me, pardon me, but, I just got a thing, I'll start whatever it is. And this is yours. And does this mean anything to you? And I say the message and I'm like, there you go. Love never dies. And I walk away. If somebody gets upset with that, that doesn't belong to me. That's their luggage. I don't go and collect other people's baggage. You know what I'm saying? I got plenty of my own. I love you guys. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here on short notice too. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope, I know we learned from you. Thanks for being here. All right. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night, sweetie.